All right, welcome back to another episode of the Weeb Retreat podcast, the most inconsistent podcast in the entire world. We hope you enjoy your stay. We are the Weebs, your hosts. My name is James. This is Jerms. And today we have some catching up to do and a lot of fun stuff planned today, huh, Jerms?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm super excited to talk about all these shows finally, but because we haven't been able to, even in personal lives, we haven't talked about any of these shows. So
Life
it's been a long while.
life comes at you pretty fast, right? So, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over the roundup. We have Attack on Titan. We have My Dress Up Darling, as usual. Then we have a discussion, and that's going to be some of our guilty pleasure animes. And then on top of that, I'm going to be educated by the wonderful Jerms. And what are you going to educate me on today, Jerms?
Today I'm going to teach you about visual novels. I got you a PC and all this stuff, but you gotta become the next level of weeb.
So,
you gotta start playing those visual novels.
So yes, Jerms brought me out of the Stone Age and has upgraded me to a PC. So, but now it's time to learn about the visual novels. I know about them, but it's time to take a nice little beginner crash course, little dive, So if you don't see me for the next 5 months and I grow out a crazy beard and all that, you can blame this guy. So yeah, great show for you guys today. Timestamps will be in the description as always, so slide through the video to find your favorite part. We're going to start with Attack on Titan. So for the episode 8 of Attack on Titan and Dress Up Darling, we are going to cut those in. We have thoughts on those specific episodes. After those, we'll jump into the past 2 weeks. So here is going to be our reactions to episode 8 of Attack on Titan, the final season. All right, Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, episode 8. What'd you make of this week's episode, Jerms?
I'm starting to get a little sad. I'm like the past few episodes have slowly been plateauing a little bit. I'm like, ooh. Wait. Wait. This is final season.
4 left.
Part 2.
4 left.
This is not
4 episodes left. It's funny.
This isn't.
Every time I come on here to maybe say something that's not super positive about a show, I'm like, okay, Jerms will be the positive side, I'll be the negative side. Nah, half the time we agree. Half the time you take my side. Like you said, it's plateauing. It's not. I felt like there was so much buildup, and now we're just kind of eking.
It
by.
happened. Well, it just happened, and then it's like,
let's keep going. Let's keep going. I feel like some of these plot lines, couldn't these have taken place before the rumbling? I mean, if you'd have to restructure them and change some things, but
some slight things.
Yeah, but you could have, I'm thinking from a storyteller perspective, you could have handled these before this big building of this climax. You know what I mean? We're in the 3rd act. We're balls deep into the 3rd act. We're about to end the show. We have 4 episodes left, and we're handling this stuff. I just
I I think we want one of those episodes at least to be just all the falling action
after 80 episodes, it should be 4 episodes of falling action, dude. I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Although,
or maybe we already are in the end. Maybe it's all just gonna be like, oh, Eren just won, and it's just like a big, you're waiting for the big bang. You're waiting for the big shot, and it just it happened. You're like, wait, what do you mean? We're done? That's it? Curtains are close the curtains. It's all over. That's it. That's the climax.
Or maybe
that's the thing I'm worried about.
We're thinking about a big resolution, but maybe there's not a big resolution. Maybe that's why all the manga readers are all pissed off at the story, because maybe it just abruptly ends. I don't know. But yeah, so I'll just say it right here, right now. This is not going to be the end of the season. I'm putting my money on it. There's going to be a movie. They're going to make a movie.
I hope that.
They're going to make a movie. I've been reading the comments, and everyone's saying there's no way they can adapt everything left in the manga in 4 episodes, dude. So, and I don't think they'll do a final season part 3. I don't think they have enough for a whole other season. So what I think they're going to do is the Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, cash cow route. You know what I mean? A decade long of Attack on Titan. They're going to give us a movie at the end. You can put your money on it right now. It's not announced, but we do have an Attack on Titan announcement soon of some sort. I don't know what it is. I don't even know when the date is, but I know that that's coming out. So
I feel like there has to be something, because like, why would you announce something after the series is over?
I would bet, yeah, and I don't think it'll be a spinoff. Usually spinoffs will come like a little bit after. Like they don't usually announce a spinoff right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind
Wait
of
a few months.
Yeah, they wait a little while for it to. So I think it's going to be a movie, dude. I genuinely think they're going to end this with the movie at this point, because if they weren't,
The way it's looking,
you know. So
yeah.
honestly, dude, we're 80 episodes in. I didn't binge it. I watched it seasonally, so you'll know more of the names. You'll be more in tune with some of this other stuff that I don't think is that important. So you'll know better than me. You lead the discussion on the actual episode. So wherever you want to go with it.
Like I feel like, you know, back like maybe like a season or two ago, we would think this would be a huge thing that we've been missing out. But like how it's happening right now, it's like Levi. What's Levi gonna do? Like Levi is not gonna like
he
his
feels out of
Sakuga
place.
killing. Yeah, like he's like normally it's like, oh, he's gonna be the one that kills someone, but it's like he's kind of just like a super
He's
cool
a walking
badass
corpse.
like.
He's a walking corpse. Can I be honest with you? I love Levi. Levi is my favorite character in Attack on Titan. So I know that people are going to think this is ridiculous, but I'm only speaking from a storytelling perspective. It would have been more impactful and meaningful to the viewer if he died. And
he came back and he's like, "Hey, it's me."
Yeah, and
I know what I can do.
Like the other two people, right? You had Yelena and the black guy who's from Marley.
Yeah, he had a really weird name.
Yeah, whatever. Those two. You know who I'm talking about. I'm terrible with names. They almost died this episode. Then what happened? The ass pull that happens in every story out there. You know what I mean? So I don't know why. Like, there's been deaths.
But like,
here,
what's the payoff? What's the payoff for all this?
But all the deaths in the show have been like the B-list characters. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to really make a statement, start killing off some of the A-listers. You know what I mean? Like, if they killed off Levi, that would have been huge, dude. Like, that would have been a really sad episode. Like, his life could have flashed before his eyes. You know what I mean? He could have like
really slow down on his death. You know, not just have it like, boom, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, they could have like hung on to his philosophies of you know, just whatever, however you wanted to do it. But instead of just like keeping him around and keeping him as a corpse, it's like, okay, like it's just a missed opportunity. And again, I love the character; he's my favorite character. But storytelling wise, it would have been really impactful and really a great moment to see his death. Not that I want to see him die, but you get what I mean, right? Just story wise,
yeah, better than this.
Instead, he's just kept around, and it's like, okay. Like, you're just afraid to kill off a character. That's what it is, you know? So, and then, yeah, we have the Connie mother side plot, right? It's Connie's mom, right?
It was all for nothing. It was all for nothing, really.
Yeah, it was really weird build up. It should have happened like last season, honestly, because I forgot about this mother. And yeah, an ass pull. Armin comes at the last minute. He goes to sacrifice himself. Then he stops Armin. He saves Armin. And it's like, I thought the whole goal was to have, you know, but I don't know. It's just, they're kind of doing a lot of ass pulls now. And again, I'm here for the rumbling, man. I'm here for the genocide. I'm here for fucking, you were giving me such a good ride. And now we're like at this, we're taking the side plots here, okay? I don't care about the side plots. I'm here for the ending of Attack on Titan. You know what I mean? And this is, I don't know, man. It's really weird. It's really, really weird.
Like, how I'm feeling right now is like, you know, we got out of a friend's place. So they live in those crazy cul-de-sacs. You know, like, okay, I think I know the way out of here. And then you turn right, and it's like, oh, I'm in a dead end. Well, let me go back. You start driving another way. You're like, okay. If I turn left here, then I'm gonna exit out back to the freeway. Then you turn left. Oh, it's another dead end. Oh, you're just like, where's the way out of here? Where's the end? Where's it at?
And to keep the analogy going, let's say you're bumping your music in your car. You're all ready to drive fast. You're ready to get on the freeway. You know, like, you know, pedal to the metal, but nope, you can't even leave the neighborhood. You're stuck in the neighborhood, and you want to go. You know what I mean? You want to get
another speed bump,
speed bumps everywhere. You know, the analogies. But again,
it's not feeling good. It's not a good ride right here. We're not on a good ride right here.
That's a good analogy, though. We have a destination we want to go to, but we're stuck we're stuck in the neighborhood. We need to leave the neighborhood and we need to get to the fucking destination, you know? So
Like,
yeah.
what's Aaron and Zeke been doing this whole like past 4 episodes?
Who knows? But I'd like to know. That's what I want to see as the viewer, but instead they're not showing me that as the viewer. They're showing me stuff that again, I'm not
Nothing
I know
happened.
all the manga readers are going to think we're crazy, and I know that all this is important. I know it might contribute to the end, but as an anime only, someone who's watching week to week, it feels weird because I'm supposed to care about this stuff, but I don't. I don't see how this connects to the overarching plot, and I'm just not emotionally invested in this. I'm emotionally invested in Aaron, in Zeke, and yeah, I mean Arwen and Mikasa, how they're going to feel about the conflict, and who wins. Will the Eldians take over the world? Will Marley fight back? That's my head's there, and instead we're focusing on Annie. We're focusing on. I mean, when's the last time we saw Annie? Fucking 2 seasons ago. Okay, she's back. I don't.
What's she gonna do?
Yeah, like can we relate this to the main plot? Okay, we
No,
have.
I've been thinking while I was in the crystal this whole time. And now she was like, "Oh, I was just listening. That's it. That's it. I didn't have a plan. I was just kind of just
Yeah,
dreaming."
and then
Like,
Coney's mom. You know, it's like I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck about this character. I really don't. I'm sorry. Like the main trio is Aaron, Arwen, and Mikasa, and I'm not saying that other characters aren't important, but we're gonna wrap up the
build it
show
up.
here, guys. I'm sorry. I
Do
don't
this
care about the
before.
whole squad. Like it's not about this being a bad storyline. It's more about priorities. You know what I mean? If you handled this stuff before and then led up to the build up, that would have been good. But why are we handling this stuff now? You know what I mean? This stuff should have been handled
Hmm.
a long time ago, or not at all. Honestly, I'm not super. And it's funny. Every time I come on here and I have something negative to say about a show, I always think you're gonna see the positive, and I don't, right? Because typically I'm more negative than you are, right? But every time we're on the same wavelength, So yeah, that's I kind of
It just
I
feels
feel how
bad,
you
man.
feel.
It just feels bad.
Yeah, and like I said, they're not gonna wrap this up in 4 episodes, Germs. They're gonna give us a movie, calling it right here, calling it right now. The manga readers are saying there's not enough material, and or
Mm.
they do like an anime only ending. I don't know. I don't know at this point.
Oof.
It's kind of weird.
Mm. Yeah. Well, right now I'm also trying to think of like if they do make a whole nother season, then like what am I gonna rank this season? Like this season's like it's like so many up it was so many ups, and then now we're getting so many downs. It's like this is even worse than like season 1 and 2 of. It's
You think
like,
so?
what are we
Yeah.
doing? It's like, what are we doing here? But it's like, but
And,
just like 5 episodes ago we were so high, but
oh,
now
we
we're
were so
just.
high. Yeah, we've gone from a 10 out of 10 to like a 6 out of 10. It's really weird. And like,
I don't even know of a 6 out of 10. I don't even know that.
and it's been like this for 3 weeks, right? Because after Aaron announced the rumbling, we had sort of the fallout of the rumbling. Then we had the Annie episode.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Fine. You have a 1 episode leeway. That makes sense. But then we had the Annie episode. Then we have this episode, and it's like, okay, guys, when are we gonna get back on track? It's they're saving it for the movie. I'm telling you right now, calling it right now. So yeah,
The
anything?
whole movie, that's gonna be wild to watching if it is, getting a whole hour and a half all at once. Whew.
Yeah, well,
But then it's like, oh, you just gotta kind of sacrifice the season just to make a movie. But
money
it's
talks.
so weird, man.
Money talks. I don't know.
And
I don't know. So
it's just I think maybe if we were binging it, it wouldn't feel as bad. But we're waiting every week, just like, okay, this
yeah, it
is the
makes it
week.
worse.
Something's not.
It makes it worse. But even binging it, man, I had such a fun time binging the whole Aaron and Zeke conflict that once we got into this stuff, it just feels out of place. Even if I binged it, you know what I mean? Like the story is going one direction, and it's like let's go over here. It's like no, what are we
Don't
doing?
look over there. Don't look at the rumbling over there.
Yeah, the most important thing that'll ever happen in the story. Let's just put that to the side, So, all right, so guys and gals, the weebs out there, comment down below. Are you on the same page as us? If you're a manga reader, tell us how crazy we are, and do you agree with me? Are we gonna get a movie? I'd love to hear about that. So that is what we thought of episode 8. Now it's time to get on to episode 9 and 10. We'll start with 9 first. What did you make of Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, episode 9? Take it away, Jerms.
Oh, it was a pretty spicy one for Attack on Titan episode 9 there. Like, it was a more slow one, no action really. You know, they were kind of just them talking, eating around the campfire,
Heavy,
you know, just
heavy dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they weren't having nice, you know, boys. This wasn't a Boy Scout, you know, camping. They were like, yo, you devils and all. You like, oh no, fuck you, you know, all
the
that.
Politics,
and, you know,
the politics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then, you know, John fucking kicks the commander guy and kicks Gabby too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so it's just like, you know, it was a little bit more slow. I remember at the moment I was still like, so what's the plans to get to Aaron, but like. And what?
Last week's episode was kind of build up towards this week's episode, right? Kind of establishing the new objective that our heroes, our protagonists, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of different sides here.
People we're following.
People that we're following at the moment, even though, you know, Aaron is still like the main protagonist. Even though he's on the back burner, we're not seeing him right now. So that was episode 9. I don't have much to say. Like you said, lots of dialogue. Almost like a visual novel in and of itself, right? So, all right. Then let's get to this week's episode because that's all I really want to talk about. Much better episode. So yeah, Armin and Connie are they basically try to fake out the Eldians and
the Jaegerists.
Yes, and how do I put this? It was a very tense scene. They knew they knew how to rise the tension in that scene. The music worked really well. I loved how they let it play out for a little bit. And
they held on some scenes for a little uncomfortably long. You're like,
but that's good. Like a good uncomfortable.
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'll just get to the bitching. I still, how do I put this? I'm still unsure why we're taking this route. I just wish we were just ramping up so much, man. And now it's like, okay, let's just, instead of the main stuff that you want to see, let's focus on this. And while, yes, it's moving. I mean, how many weeks did it take? Like 4 to get to some action again? I mean, I'm not, Attack on Titan's a seinen. It's not like a shonen, right? So I'm not expecting like action every single week, but I just wanted the plot to move forward. Finally, the plot's moving forward, but not the main plot that I'm super interested in. So
yeah, I'm still confused on what they're gonna do. But but my favorite thing was that in the episode that Annie was like, hey Armin, Mikasa, you know you can't talk no jutsu Eren, right?
Yes.
I was like, yes, they brought it up based Annie. Oh, and Annie had so many great scenes, man. I miss Annie so much. Now that she's back, I'm like, damn, where has she been this whole time? Oh yeah, she was in Frozen in Ice.
Well, we had that one episode.
But what a badass bitch, man.
Yeah, we had that one episode where they kind of reintroduced her back into the, you know, current state of things. So yeah, and she goes up against what's his name? He gets into his
Reiner?
Right, yes, Reiner, thank you. So many names. I'm terrible. When I watch something dubbed, the names are easy because it's in my language. But when it's subbed, it's like, for some reason, the names just do not come, man. So yeah, towards the end of the episode, we see that Annie takes on her Titan form. Reiner takes on his Titan form.
So badass. Oh, I was nutting, man.
Yeah, and you know, I really love...
Well, just...
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it was just like that... You go.
Go ahead.
You go.
I said you, Jerms. It's your episode.
Okay.
You go.
Oh, but man, I was like, when the two of them were like back to back, and I'm like, oh baby, and like fucking just like Annie, just like, you know, kickball, you know, football kicking some lads. It's like, oh yeah, that's the wild shit in Attack on Titan that I want to see. You know,
that's what we've been wanting. But you know, things take a long time to build up. Even though we're like 80 episodes in now, I guess we just need to wait longer, right? So, yeah, better. But my complaint
I still don't know what.
In the last podcast that we did, I said I don't know what the hell they're doing. We have a full blown war going on, and we're focusing on the side plot. Obviously, this side plot is going to transition into them, you know, trying to take down Eren and the Jaegerists, that are trying to restore Eldia, you know, trying to take on the world. I just wish that And I know that manga is published week to week. I know that it's hard to plot things out. But, Isayama plotted out Aaron's sort of time travel, whatever you want to call it, all the way back in chapter 1. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Why mess up the ending here?
I can't even say it's hindsight's 2020. Let me see the ending, and then I'll see if these criticisms hold up.
Yeah.
Maybe all these criticisms are like, I'm not seeing the big picture. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what's going on here, but
I hope it is, because all the setup he's done before. There's no way you do all the setup, baking a cake or whatever, and then you forget to, put in the oil or something.
We keep hearing about that ending, dude. We keep hearing that it's not the best ending. So I don't know. Listen, I said it last podcast, probably the one before that. They are not going to wrap the show up in 2 episodes. In 2 episodes, they're not wrapping the show up. They're going to give us a movie. And that movie, I'm calling it right now, is going to come out in 2023. It's going to be a massive movie. And that will complete.
What's it called? The final part 3?
The final. And when did Attack on Titan first come out? 2013? Look it up for me, Jerms.
Yeah, around there. Yeah, I'll do a double check. I'm pretty around there.
If it's 2013, I'm pretty sure it's 2013. That'll mean it took 10 years. It took a decade of our lives to get through this thing. So if you're an anime only and you've been watching it for a long time, was it 2013? Yeah. So
April 2013.
So it took us a decade to get to the end of this anime. If you've only watched the anime, haven't been tempted to read the manga, you're an OG like we are. But they're not wrapping this up in 2.
We're confused. We're confused.
Yeah, they're not wrapping this up in 2 episodes.
We're hoping.
There's no way. Do you think they're gonna wrap this up in 2 episodes? There's no way.
No way. Unless it's the most garbage ending ever, where it's just one of those where it just ends. There's no way. There's no way it's just be like, oh no.
I can't believe that. I refuse to believe that. They're gonna give us a movie.
I hope so as well.
They're gonna give us a movie.
Currently, without us knowing, maybe we're hoping for a movie, but what if this is just how it is? We don't know if it just ends like that. But there's only one way to find out.
I got to be honest. The past couple episodes, how do I put this? Aren't terrible, but for Attack on Titan standards, have been way lower. Like if you want to count this last half of the season as let's just say that it's its own part, this part is worse than any other part of Attack on Titan, in my opinion. This is a guy who's watching it week to week. Maybe I'm not seeing the forest through the trees, right? Maybe I'm just getting caught up week to week. But honestly, it's okay, but it's not up to the standard and the quality that Attack on Titan usually gives us. Even season 1. Honestly, I don't know. There's a whole war going on out there, and we're not seeing it. We're seeing the little rebellion with less than 10 characters. So I don't know. I fear that he doesn't stick the landing.
We're worried about killing a few people, when there's a genocide happening,
And again,
that's literally what's happening.
Again, I've sat through 80 episodes. I have my popcorn with me. I want to see the genocide, okay? Or maybe it's a light Yagami situation. Maybe the protagonist gets, the protagonist is quote unquote evil. Maybe he gets taken out at the end. I don't know. I just want to see what the hell happens. Something. It's nice.
Where's Aaron been this past 6 episodes?
It's Armin's been a strong, influential character, but Connie, really? I don't know. It's been interesting. I fear where this is going.
Armin's been getting more development than Armin's had,
Yeah, well, these past, yeah.
Why? It's why?
and honestly, where the fuck it's the 3 of them. It's Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. Where's Mikasa? I mean, Mikasa, we've seen her a little bit, but she should be at the forefront of these episodes, really. I feel like the audience probably likes Mikasa more than fucking Armin and Connie. So again, I'm not complaining. In Attack on Titan, we trust, but at the same time, please stick the landing. There's no way they finish this in 2 episodes. We're getting a movie, 2023. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. So you can take me later when that prediction comes true, by the way. So did you want to, I just kind of steamrolled this shit. Do you have anything that you want to add, Jerms?
You said what I want, what I was thinking as well. It's just, please don't have it end like this. Please don't.
And it's not even that this episode this week was bad. It's just
Yeah, it was better than the past
It was
ones,
a good
definitely for
episode.
sure.
I was
But
on the edge of my seat. I'm like, ooh, this is a tense moment. I like the tension here. I like not knowing whether they're gonna succeed or not. I like Reiner not knowing whether to trust. It was directed really well. Like it directing wise, solid. It achieved what it wanted to achieve. I'm just wondering why the fuck we're here, you know? Like, I can show you the best episode of a show that you've never seen in the middle of season 5, and you might watch it and be like, damn, that's a solid episode. But you don't have the context for it. You don't know what the fuck is happening, right? That's how I feel watching. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't know why we're going down this route. Hindsight's 2020. Eventually I'll know in 2023 probably, but I don't know right now. So please, Isayama, Wit Studio, please stick the landing for us. So all right, so that is catching up with Attack on Titan with the Weeb. So comment down below if you guys are watching Attack on Titan weekly. And if you're an anime only, do you share the concerns that we have? If you're a manga reader, do you share the concerns that we have? Because a lot of you did not like the ending of the series. No spoilers for us. All right, time to get into my dress-up darling, the darling of this season. So here is what we recorded for our review of episode 8, and then we'll see you guys after. So, all right, what did you make of my dress-up darling, episode 8? Let the people know. Let the people know. And let me ask you straight up, best episode yet? Answer that first, then tell me what you thought of the episode. Best episode yet?
I think so.
I think so.
There's so many good moments. There's so many good moments.
So
like there wasn't like this show was just so good that like you didn't even need the titties to make this episode better than all the rest. It's like just the wholesomeness of the beach.
Oh, it's great.
And all like and that's just the beach part. Then there's also the other cosplay girl.
Yes. The Inui.
It's just like if you were to give me just that beach part where it's just like, the beach is like, oh, thanks for, giving me this, bringing me to the outside world and seeing. It's like
that would have been great already.
Beautiful. That would have been like one of the best episodes of the whole series. And then there's just all that extra stuff, all the additional good shit that they just like, you wanted you a nice burger. Oh, let me give you some nice onion rings and some, it's like they just keep giving you more. Oh, and take a milkshake while you're on the way out,
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I'm feeling watching the show. I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna get that good Marin and Gojo scenes. I know I'm gonna get that, but you know what? When I'm done, the show's gonna give me more than what I was expecting every time.
It's great, dude. I called it. Cloverworks is killing it. I said it. I knew they'd come out with a banger. So yeah. So like most slice of life rom-coms out there, most that we talk about on the show, there's usually like a first half and a second half. Same with this episode. But honestly, what's different about this episode is like both half were solid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like one overshadowed the other. I thought both were like perfect, dude. So the first half is we pick up at the diner scene. We meet the other sister, and then they go to this sort of like abandoned house, kind of to
abandoned school. I think
abandoned school.
I think it's abandoned school.
It's a school. It's Japan. What am I thinking? So they go there to get the Instagrammable pics, right? Got to flex on the gram.
Nice scenery.
And out of nowhere, Gojo connects with Inui. They're talking.
Unexpected.
Totally unexpected, but like great, dude. And she's talking about how she was jealous of Marin and how much cosplaying sort of means to her. And like Gojo is able to relate that to I always forget if it's the grandfather or the uncle, but
grandfather.
The grandfather.
Yeah, I think
he's
so.
always able to relate it to the grandfather, and it's just a powerful moment. It's a nice inclusion of the supporting characters. You know what I mean? Like the grandfather could just very easily be the grandfather that's like there. Like not
just exists.
Yeah, just exists. Not a big important role in the story, but the fact that Gojo is able to take what she's saying and relate it to his grandfather's love of Hina dolls. Again, I think I talked about this last week. It's the merging of the concept of beauty and how Gojo loves the Hina dolls, Marin loves cosplaying, and it's sort of, they're both expressing their fandom. They're both expressing their passion, their hobby, and how they find the beauty in their hobby. And so yeah, Gojo is able to relate to Inui when she talks about it. He hugs her, and then she has a moment where she's like, because she goes to like a private girls' school, she's never been hugged by a guy. So not only is it, not only is she opening up to him, he's relating it back to his grandfather and having a moment where he now, from his friend, understands his grandfather better. But now he hugs her, and she has a beautiful moment with him. It's like it's perfect. Every character gets development.
Fell in love with his art. Not like, you know, in a normal rom-com, like you'd fall in love with him, but it's like this is not just about, you know, just like a lovely. It's like, you know, I love what you're doing here. Like I love the cosplay dress.
It's the hobby. It's the finding the beauty in what your interests are. You know what I mean? And it's great, dude. All the characters, like, it's a significant moment for every character involved. You know what I mean? Gojo relates back to his grandfather. He's sort of happy that Inui was able to show him this. He hugs her. Now she has like a moment with him. It's like, it's beautiful, dude. Character development for days in this first half of the episode, and we're not even done with the episode because we get more character development. It's like fucking great, dude. Like, and not only that, but they could have easily done like a scene like this between Gojo and Marin, but they chose to do the new girl who we're not super used to yet. And it's like, it's perfect. Like they should have done that because now they're establishing a more
friendship
of a relationship between them. You know what I mean? And I suspect at some point we'll see more of the sister, but definitely if he's making a cosplay for the first one, you know, we need to have more of an established relationship with them. So first half of the episode, perfect, satisfies everything, brings in other elements of the show. Love it. Then we get the second half of the episode, and totally different. Marin out of nowhere is just like, let's go to the beach. Fuck it, you know. They go to the beach, and well, I know you have a lot to say about that. Take it away, Jerms. What did you think of the second half of the episode?
Man, it was just so good, man. Like Marin's just like, oh, you know, it's like they got some food or something because they're about to, you know, just gonna lay down in the beach or, you know, just relax.
In their school
and then like
clothes.
A bird. Yeah, there's just a normal school clothes, and like a crow comes and steals her food and shit. He's like, hey, you know, just take my burger.
Yeah.
And then this like they kind of just share food in a nice like just like cute little way. It's like, oh, it's just so good. It's like, oh, here, just take it. You know, you're like, oh, it's like, oh, you can have it all, but she's like, oh, no, take half of it. You know, like, oh, you should try this boba, and he's like, no, you can keep it. But then they just share such a nice moment. Marin's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going in the water.
Yep. Well, and I want to say before we get there, I just want to say that this is also significant because Gojo is kind of unsure why she brought him there, and it's not for any cost. It's not he thinks it's to take pictures of her, right? That would relate to the first half of the episode. And she's like, "Nah, I just want to be at the beach." So this is our first time seeing the characters sort of not, you know, sort of having a friendship outside of the cosplay aspect, right? This is them just being friends, has nothing to do with him making clothes for her, nothing to do with him going to a convention or her paying him back for, you know, his work.
The dolls or...
This is pure, and that's what makes it even better, Jerms. Like, it's already a good scene, but that's what makes it even spicier is like, it's not the transactional part of their relationship. It's just straight up their friendship. And again, just to set the scene, I love that, dude. I love it because now they're just hanging out. Because it shows you that the show doesn't have to be a cosplay show. This can be a rom-com with cosplay in it, but it doesn't have to just be cosplay every episode. A lot of anime, like sports anime with themes, right? Game anime, like board games and stuff. They have a theme, and like that's the sort of the main central. Every episode you get
everything's mixed into that.
Everything's revolves around that. But here we had a whole scene where cosplay, Hina dolls, that didn't play a factor at all. This is just two people having a great time at the beach, you know, slowly fall in love with each other. So again, it's beautiful. But yes, go ahead. They go in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, go in the water, and she's like, oh, just, you know, she's like playing around, splashing around. He's like, hey, join me. He's like, you know, he's like, okay, I guess I'll, you know, he takes off his like shoes and socks and stuff, and he just like sits in the water, and he's like, hey, this is something, you know, different than I never really went to the ocean before. He's like, oh, even though, you know, I guess your town is a little landlocked and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, yeah, this is something I wouldn't have done before, and all thanks to you. And it's like, damn,
Yeah.
damn.
That shows it's an important moment for him. And then once she realizes that he doesn't have a lot of life experiences, she's like, well, why don't we go a lot of places this summer? So she sort of sees
She was so
his
excited. Oh my gosh, it was so
yeah.
cute.
It was so cute, dude. There were so many times where she makes waifu for days here, man. There's so many times, like, forget the tits, like, we don't even, like, forget the cosplay, like, just how cute her face is, man. How much she's, like, fawning over this kid, you know? Um, but yeah, she realizes his sort of vulnerability, sort of his inexperience, and she wants to provide him with, she wants to provide him with these experiences. She wants to, and again, that just goes to show you it's not just attraction. Like, she really wants to have a good time with him and, like, give him, sort of these valuable experiences. And it shows that she cares for him. It's not just attraction. She, like, cares for him, So again, layers on top of layers here. I love it. I love how it's developing.
This is so good, man. There's just so many like good like shots. And then that one night, especially when she goes back to the back to the towel and grabs her phone, she's like
Blushing and shit. Oh, it
blushing.
takes a
And then
picture?
then takes a picture,
Yeah.
and it's like she's gonna be looking back on that picture from now on
It's
and be
gonna be
like,
her. Hey, I'm gonna make a prediction. It's gonna be her wallpaper, and he's gonna see it, and she's gonna be embarrassed. Watch, that's probably gonna happen.
oh
So,
man, it just all it's just so many feel good moments, man. Like this show just never stops. It never stops. Oh,
and not only is it feel good stuff, but again, it's important stuff. Like, this is genuine character development for Inui, Gojo, and Marin. Like, they all get character development this
character
episode.
development in a rom-com, James?
I know.
What are you saying? Come on, what kind of this ain't my anime.
Exactly.
That's
And not only is there just, like, the childish attraction, but, like, again, like, she cares for him. Like, she wants to take him places because she knows he hasn't been to places. Like, again, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's doing
Hashtag
everything.
goals. Hashtag goals.
Everything it needs to be doing, the show is doing it, and we're only 8 episodes in. Like,
Oh, no, only James. We're too many episodes in.
Every episode has been fire. Like, there's some shows you'll watch 30 episodes and not get this kind of character development, but we're 8 in, and we're already getting such meaningful episodes. Like, every episode you watch of the show is pretty, like, important. Not a single, nothing filler. Nothing has been bad.
Yeah,
all of it's been fire, dude.
Yeah, I feel like if you skipped an episode, like you'd be like, they're a little bit different. I wonder what happened in the last episode. It's like a lot of shows that that doesn't happen. It's like it happens like you can do almost every episode. It's like, oh, they're a lot different than they were that time. Like, oh, a little bit different. Like in some shows, it's like a whole like 20 episodes gonna happen and none of the characters change.
Yeah.
Not even like side character or anything, but we're getting the main characters, a side character, getting some development, and it's like it's just doing the good stuff, man. It's just doing the good stuff. Like they don't need to add in like 20 new characters, show all these hot girls in cosplay. They don't need it. They got Marin and Gojo.
And they also don't need all of the fan service. Like, there was not a lot of fan service this episode. They don't need like a forced romance. Like, they're not in love with each other yet. They're not even boyfriend girlfriend yet. Like, the show isn't forcing anything. A lot of shows might like resort to those things, especially fan service and anime. You know what I mean? With a cosplay show like this, you would think every episode would be like, like every episode you would think would be like the second episode where she's in her bikini. You'd think that would be like every single episode, right? But the writers know that they don't need to do that. It's just
they got you hooked with that with those pictures initially, and then now they're reeling you in easy. They're like,
easy, yeah. So 11
I
out of
can't
10.
wait, man.
Perfect, best episode of the season.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
I wish I could buy more volumes of manga than I already have all of them. I'm like, damn, I want to buy like 20 volumes and read all this, but
yeah.
We gotta wait week after week, unfortunately. But it's a good time when the episode. I know it's gonna be a good episode when the episode goes on.
Yeah, and
Can't say that for everything, unfortunately.
no, and the animation seemed a little off this episode, but I actually still like the art style, even when Cloverworks has like slightly different character drawings than like what they've established. It's still good, man. It's still good. That's how high quality Cloverworks is. Now, that's not to say that they haven't fucked up some series in the past, but speaking only from an animation perspective, very high quality animation. So I love it. And 12 episodes this season. We got 4 episodes left. I'm already satisfied. Anything at this point is like dessert, bro. Like I'm already happy. Like the meal was good. You're already gonna get a what is it, 4-star, 5-star on
Five
whatever.
star.
This is already a 5-star restaurant. At this point, just give me some dessert.
A nice tip.
Yeah, give them a little nice tip. Excellent service, but just give us a little nice
Cherry
nice
on top.
story. Yeah, give us a nice little story to end the season, and I'm beyond happy. Like
we're satisfied.
Already satisfied. So yeah. Comment down below, the guys and gals, the weebs out there. We'd love to hear what you guys think of My Dress Up Darling. Are you enjoying it as much as we are? All right, so we're back. That's what we thought of episode 8. Let's get on to episode 9 of My Dress Up Darling. What did you make of it, Jerms?
Oh man, it's just we got the development with the what's the little sister? Not the little. Well, I guess she's the older sister technically. The
going to look it up now.
I forgot what her name is.
The smaller one.
But we focus
the smaller one.
Yeah, the smaller one. So we got her development a little bit. Her relationship with Gojo. A little bit of there.
Yes.
And then this one was the younger sister.
The younger bigger sister.
Younger bigger sister. It's like in my head I'm like the biggest sister. Like, oh no, wait, no, she's bigger. Bigger here, but not.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to.
So yeah, it's Inui Sajuna is the younger sister, and then the older sister but smaller. Inui Shinju is the one that we focused on in this episode. She's the younger sister but bigger where it counts. So yeah. So and we get development with her. So you know what's what's great about the season, Germs? What's the cast here? We have Marin, we have Gojo, we got the 2 sisters. We have his uncle, Grandpa. I never know. I'll never. Yeah. We'll get to season 5. I won't know. But 5 characters. That's all I need. Like they're giving the characters the time they need. So many anime out there. Like I feel like if you show certain animes to people that don't have a lot of experience with anime, they might be like, oh, that's great. Like, that was a good show. And it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, this show stands above the rest. Like, you have to see the others to really decipher the gold and the shit, right? And there's so many anime that just throw characters at you, specifically shonen, but lots of other genres too. They just throw them at you.
And there's tropes.
And it's just like, what's his name? What's her name? And they like the only thing that differentiates them is
was there a quirk?
Yeah, they'll have one personality trait, just one, no dimension to their character. The only thing you can tell the difference is like the hair color, But lots of anime, they just throw these characters at you, but not Dress Up Darling. Small cast. But with that small cast, you get better, more intimate, more development, more focus. It's so good. This is what a slice of life rom-com needs to do. This is what a slice of life rom-com needs to be, and it's just everything I wanted. It does, everything that I would ask of a show of this style. It just accomplishes. So yeah, sorry to go on a tangent there.
No problem.
Yeah, great development for that character. Anything about that episode before we move on to the latest?
Well, I think it was really interesting, being like, oh, I want to cosplay too, but not like as a female. I want to, I like this character. It's like, oh, hey, now Gojo's like, hey, okay, how do we do that? And it's like, okay, now he's like learning all these new ways. Like, wait a second. You have a lot to hide here. We have to figure out how to.
And then she gets the shoulder pads. I was wondering when they would do the gender. What would you call it? Gender swapping for
cross-dress.
Yeah, kind of cross-dressing, whatever you want to call it. Gender swapping for cosplaying. I was wondering when they do it, and here they go.
They did it in a great way.
Yeah. It doesn't feel unnatural, doesn't feel forced. Just is like, yeah, she wants to cosplay as her favorite guy character, and Gojo being the master,
the king.
The king. He does it. He gets it done. So yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, the heart of this show is enjoying your hobby, and their hobby of cosplaying is sort of what brings them together. But again, it's not just that; it's also the relationships. Because we don't get cosplay like sports anime. 90% of the episode's sports, right? 10% is characters.
Training. I gotta get better at running.
This one, I'd say like 40% is the hobby cosplay, but like 60% is just the characters, just enjoying themselves. I mean, episode 9 was pretty cosplay. Like it was pretty much him and her talking about it. But with this week's episode, they go shopping, and they're not necessarily just doing
just some slight, just a little bit of, that's just what we need. We don't need a full in-depth explanation like, oh, this is how I put the nails on her, and this is how I do the makeup. It's just like, okay, we do the makeup, now we're next. It
gives you just enough where it's like, that's nice to know, but it doesn't drag to where you're like, I don't give a fuck about this. It's like, okay, that's cool. It's just again, it does. I don't have any complaints. It just does everything right. So. All right, should we get into this week's episode? So last week's episode, we had her coming out with a cosplay and sort of that development with her character. And this week is we're back to Marin.
We're back,
baby. So episode 10. Marin
new cosplay
has her sights on a new character. Again, you know how I said that you need to watch other anime to know why this one's good? When she came over to take a shower at his place, I'm like, here we go. They're gonna do the same old shit. He's gonna peek in on her. She's gonna slip on the soap. He's gonna fall on her boobs. He's gonna be embarrassed. He's gonna run out screaming, and they'll be back at square one. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. She was, in his bathroom, and she said, "You better not take a peek at me." And if we were in a manga, kind of like breaking the fourth wall. If we were in a manga, you'd probably take a peek or something like that, right? So, but no perverted moment, none of that. Like she just takes a shower and she's out. Like again, it's just it's refreshing. It's wholesome. Some of these tropes are beat to death, but this show doesn't need to do that. Instead, it gives you fan service that doesn't feel like fan service because she's literally changing.
She's Marin to be Marin.
Yeah, it's her changing in and out of clothes. Like, of course, you're going to see how good she looks, So it's not forced. It's all natural. You agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was hilarious because she was like, oh, you can. I'm wearing my nice underwear, and she's like, wait a second. Once she's seen it, like, oh, it's like, oh yeah. she got embarrassed. It's, yeah. Like it just feels good, man. It just feels good. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like an actual relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the one-sided him blushing all the time or her blushing all the time. It's the back and forth of real life. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's great. And then they go shopping for him, which again, it's not all about her hobby, right? She cares about him and she wants to get him some new clothes. And so he tries on this shirt and she's looking at him and I'm like, oh shit, she's about to roast him. No, she actually adores him. I think it's funny.
She's like, every single of his outfits is just too good. Oh, it's just so wholesome, man. It's just so wholesome.
It's so good. And yeah, he's a little bit of a bitch boy. A little bit. They're walking out and he's saying, oh, this is the one cosplay I can't see. It's like, dude, just go for it. Just go for it.
But she's she's got a little feist in her. She's got a little spunk in her. Like I think Marin having that little bit of like that of her being a little bit more forward and being like outgoing. It's like that's how it would be in real life. The inclusive person's going to be inclusive all the time, but you sometimes need that person to crack the shell. And Marin's that girl. She's the one. She's the girl.
Yep. And it's funny with last week's episode. I was like, okay, new girl. Well, like we met her before, but like new development for a new girl. This better not become a harem, and it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. It looks like it's just going to be Gojo, Marin, their development. Hopefully Gojo stops being a little bit of a bitch, but it's not too much. It's not like annoying. It's not like most shows. It's not like most like, ecchi shows where the guy's just completely like afraid to even look at the girl. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of it's justified. It's justified. He's not as outgoing as you say, so.
Well, especially he's been just making dolls his whole life. It makes sense as a character.
It makes sense. It's not like he has like 7 different types of ass in his face and he's still running away. You know what I mean? Like, it's
just Marin's which like even with the big titty girl, he didn't care that much.
Yeah,
but
that was a funny moment.
It's the person the tits are attached to.
Yeah,
Gojo's the real one here. Gojo's the real one.
All right, so to close out my thoughts for this episode, I just got to say, phenomenal music. I have to say that. It's a crime not to say that. The OST is so good in this show. So good, dude. I don't know if you guys pay attention to that out there, but the music is so great for the show. And Marin, dude, I love. She's the star of the show. The show is really nothing without her. Like every episode, I love her more and more. And God, she's so hot, dude. Like just on raw attractive. Like not even not the MILF, not the over. Well, I guess some people would say she's over sexualized, but great waifu. And yeah, just good show. I have nothing but I don't have anything negative to say about it. No negatives. Good shit, man. Good shit.
Yeah, same for me as well, man. It's just Marin just is like the light bulb, in the darkness. It's just it wouldn't be the same without her.
No.
Like Gojo's a good guy and all, and the character's a great development and all, but Marin just takes a great show to beautiful show.
Yeah. I mean, we have 2 episodes left for this season. They could.
Oh no. Why'd you to tell me that? No, Jay.
They could fuck up these 2 episodes, and I'd still love this season. Like the first 10 were just a pleasure to watch. A slower show, but honestly, the little moments count. That's what you expect in a slice of life. So, yeah, guys and gals, the weebs out there, we know you're enjoying My Dress Up Darling. Everyone that's watching it. So comment down below what you thought of this week's episode, and what you think of the season as a whole so far. We are thoroughly enjoying it. Before we get onto our discussion, we're going to discuss our winner of the week between these 2 Titans, so to speak. We have Attack on Titan season 2, final season, part 2, episode 10. A lot to say there. And then My Dress Up Darling, episode 10. What is your winner of the week, Jerms?
You already know. Dress Up Darling, easy peasy. It just isn't. It doesn't. It just feels like we're beating up like an old man. It's like it's what happens when there's only two options. It's like. Dress Up Darling is just blown out of the park, so.
Yeah, I feel like we don't really need to explain this one. I think we agree too much on the show. I gotta say, for views and for controversy, you gotta start fighting me, Jerms. You gotta start fighting me. So, we Attack on Titan, we feel the same. We don't really, we're a little bit confused about the direction. Whereas My Dress Up Darling, we think it has phenomenal direction. Just for fun here, any predictions for season finale? Will they, dude? When she leaned into him, I'm like, oh, is she about to kiss him right now? But she just whispered something. You gotta take it slow. You gotta take it slow, right? So, any predictions? Do you think there will be probably not a love confession this early, but probably? Well, first of all, will she send him a pic of the cosplay? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I think maybe like in like the post credit scene or something, or like at the end or something. I bet that'd be nice and hilarious.
I bet he sees it in person, dude. Why would he go through why would she let him go through the trouble of making it? He can't even see it. You know what I mean? I bet she just like knocks on his door and is like, "Hey, what's up?" So, yeah.
Hashtag goals.
Hashtag goals. All right. That's going to be our winner of the week. Let's get into our discussion. So, for our discussion this week, we are going to be discussing guilty pleasure anime. These are going to be very personal lists, and I think these are going to be very different lists. Get a coin ready, Jerms. We're gonna flip a coin to see who goes first. So, what is this? This is going to be anime that we love personally, that we would not necessarily recommend to a casual audience. So, let's say we met someone out and about. and they see we're wearing an anime shirt. They're like, "Oh, you watch anime?" We're like, "Yeah." "Have you seen any anime?" They're like, yeah, I've seen Dragon Ball Z or One Punch Man or Death Note." There's nothing wrong with those shows. Those shows are great, but you know, there's certain, you can tell that they're a little bit more casual. They have not sort of gone deeper and deeper into the genre, the medium, like we have. And that's not even to say that we're experts. This is just to say these are shows that we just wouldn't recommend anyone. Like if you've never seen anime before, you've never seen any of it, we're not going to recommend any of these to you. These are for the people who know what they're watching, know what they're looking at. They like anime, they like manga, they like you know, this crazy shit.
Certain types of shows,
yeah. These are very individualized to us. These are stuff that we recommend, but we know that they're not for everyone. You know, so
it's not gonna be like, oh, this is like a 10 out of 10 show. Everyone should watch. It's like, you know, I like it, but that's because I like this, you know, this kind of stuff. So
yeah,
this is very us picks here.
Yep. These are our guilty pleasures. These are the anime that, again, we if we know that you might, if we suspect that you might be into this sort of stuff, we'll recommend it. But we're not going to just be throwing these names out there. These are not for the average person on the street to consume. With that, and we're going to do our top 5. Well, not even top 5, just 5 recommendations that we have, right?
Yeah.
So, with that, Germs, give us a flick of the coin. I will take, let's say heads.
Tails. Wow.
Tails. All right.
It's me.
That's you, my friend.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's start off with
so again,
and
let me just reiterate something. When we introduce our pick, we're going to say why it's not for everyone, why it might be for you, why you might like it, and why we loved it, what made us love it. So again, those 3 things: why it's not for everyone, why you might like it, and why we loved it. So, all right, let's get on to the guilty pleasures, my friend. Sorry to cut you off there, but let's get on.
No problem. I gotta establish this.
Yep.
This is a pretty easy one. You already know about this one.
Throw it up.
The first one here, Date Alive. Okay. You know me. Yeah, you know me. I love Date Alive, man.
By the way, new season coming out. Just so you know. Oh,
I know. I'm excited.
I know you're plugged in. All right. Why?
But man, Date Alive. Oh, just waifus for days, man. Like it's just like just the beginning when I was watching like these, you know, harem, mecha, you know, slice of life kind of, you know, shows. Like Date Alive was just like one of the first ones, and I think it's about
first and foremost. This would be like a harem ecchi, right? Do you want to sort of describe?
Oh yeah,
you want to describe what the show's about, basically? I mean, I watched the season. I don't even know what the fuck it's about, to be honest with you. But I'm sure Germs could explain it better.
Oh yeah, so basically, like there's like anomalies that are happening around the world, and like in these anomalies, like before people thought it was just like, you know, bombs going off or whatever, but it turns out it's waifus. You know, you gotta just, you know, kiss the waifus, and then they become like normal chicks that have like, you know, spirit powers and all that jazz.
You know, anime stuff. Like just anime stuff,
the usual kind of stuff,
right?
And just, you know, he just collects a harem of waifus to fight other waifus, you know, to then have them join the side. So it's just like, you know, it's just dumb fun, man. Like it's just cute waifus all day, every day.
What season are we in? How many seasons of this shit do we have? 4?
It's gonna be season 4.
Damn.
And there was a movie. I think there's 1 or 2 movies. I forget.
Yeah. All right. All of them.
Yeah, this is.
You like all of them equally? Like all of them are your shit?
Oh yeah, all of them were also good. I feel like it only got better. Like the last season was just got a little bit more serious with the plot. I'm like, oh, interesting. But just the waifus there's like always like 2-3 new waifus each season, man.
All right.
So it's, you know, if you want tons of waifus, a little bit more dumb action, a little bit more of that like usual rom-com-y, you know, some dumb scenes. You're like, you know, like, oh, you kissed her, you know, blah 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 blah. Kiss me more, you know. This is not a very intelligent show here. You know, this is
a rom-com is a stretch. It's just a harem ecchi from what I saw. I only saw the first season. You're basically gonna get lots of ass, lots of tits,
Oh yeah.
lots of blushing. All right, so let's hit up the 3. Why is this not for everyone, Germs? Why is this not for the average person who
Too many waifus, too much ecchi for
too much
a normal
ecchi,
person.
right? Too much ecchi.
Yeah.
They might be like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" All right, why might it be for those watching? Who do you recommend this for? The degenerates.
Degenerates. You love tons of waifus. You love that dumb ecchi. Here you go. You know, it's not nothing. It gets a little bit serious in the last season, but that was kind of unexpected. But it's like, oh, it's just dumb ecchi fun. You know, with big titties. You know, small titties. You have the whole smorgasbord here. You know, there's something for everyone here.
Yes, and you pretty much touched on it, but anything else to add why you loved it? Why does this one, because there's so many harem ecchis out there, lots of harems out there. Why does this one resonate with you?
I think it was just like it was like it was like the gateway drug anime for me in the ecchi. It was like, hey, you want to see a bunch of dumb ecchi scenes, but you know, hot waifus everywhere, and there's like a billion of them. Sure.
Here you go.
There you go. And yeah, every season's only been expanding the roster here, so yeah, that's why I enjoy it.
Yep. Typical Jerms pick. Typical Jerms pick. By the way, I've only seen the first season. Suffice to say, it was not for me. I did not move on to season 2, but this is definitely a Jerms pick. Can't fault him. Again, these are just our personal. You can't fault someone for their personal taste. You know what I mean? It's like everyone has their own personal taste. So, all right, let's
see yours. I'm interested to see this here.
All right, so my list is going to be weird for all the people watching. I think we're going to have very different lists, and mine is going to go from most recent to the older they get. So. All right,
interesting.
Pick number 1. It's gonna be
I see.
Welcome to the NHK, which I don't believe you've seen. Have you? Yeah, you haven't.
I've not seen, but you've been telling me to watch it.
Yeah, this is one of the within the first 15 anime I've ever watched. This came out in 2006, so they only get older from here. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I feel like I gotta shed light on some of these that people were sleeping on, right? So what is this? And you'll see some other picks sort of echo the sentiment, but it's sort of about otaku culture. The protagonist is a 22-year-old college dropout, basically, unemployed. He's a hikikomori, which is a term for, like sort of isolated, hardcore otaku, hardcore weebs, into anime, into hentai, very socially awkward, a virgin, I assume. I don't remember off the top, but I'm pretty sure he's a virgin. Yeah, they call him a NEET, not in employment, education, or training. So he is doing nothing with his life.
Nothing.
And how do I even describe a show like this? He believes that the NHK, which is a very popular channel in Japan, he sort of believes in a conspiracy that they're out to create hikikomori in otaku culture. Like they air all the hentai and the degenerate, sort of the pornography culture-ish in Japan. I want to be as sensitive as I can here because I'm not from that culture, but he believes that they foster that sort of culture, guys looking up girl skirts on trains and getting people to be gamers and not talk to people, and he believes that they're fostering this culture. And so that's what it is. It's a slice of life. It's 24 episodes. This is back in the day where we didn't have these anime seasons. Let me tell you youngsters about this shit. Back in the day, we didn't have seasons. A show ran, and most shows were like 24 to 26. And if the manga was still going, you get an anime-only ending. Or if it's a Naruto or One Piece, it just keeps going every week. There's no break. There's no seasonal break. They just keep airing every week. I think this is faithful to the manga. What is the adaptation? I'm not even exactly.
Maybe light novel?
It's a light novel.
I feel like it might be a lot.
It is a light novel.
It sounds like a light novel kind of thing to me. Seems like a lot more dialogue focused.
Yes.
Just from the sound of it.
No action, fully dialogue. Yeah, okay, so it is a light novel. I'm pretty sure it was accurate, and even if it wasn't, it was still a solid ending. If you find that you're a social, so okay, here's who it's not, right? I gotta follow the script. Why it's not for everyone. You can't just show this to someone who's not familiar with otaku culture. Someone who is not, like, if you show this to someone who is not a nerd, who wants to get into anime, but they don't know anything about Japanese culture, any of this stuff, they will be like, what the fuck am I watching right now? They will not get it. Here's for who it might be. It might be for all of those who feel that they're a social outcast, or they don't, they're socially awkward. They don't fit in with society. They don't, all that sort of stuff. And if you're into anime, you're probably into video games. You're probably into hentai. You're probably into all this nerd culture. You know what I mean? I'll just call it nerd culture. And so, yeah, why I loved it is that it when I watched it, I must have been like 14 or something like that. I was much more quiet, much more reserved. I was not as outgoing as I am now. So it resonated with me on a personal note. If I went back and watched it today, I wonder what my thoughts would be on it. But when I watched it, it struck a chord with me. I really like the characters. There's this girl that comes into his life. I should have talked about her, but she is kind of like, she almost takes over as the main character. Like, it's basically, she's outgoing, she's fun, she's friendly, he's not. So she's kind of helping him get out of his shell a little bit. So yeah, that's why I good cast of characters, completely, like you said, very dialogue heavy, basically no action. It's a very psychological anime. A lot of it's in his head. And so, yeah, if any of that sounds interesting to you, and you're a weeb like we are, I mean, anyone who's watching at this point is a weeb, right? So if you're a weeb like we are, and any of that sounds interesting, if you can see any of yourself in that main character, I would recommend it. So, yeah, welcome to the NHK 2006. Yeah.
I see.
All right, time.
Yeah, I'll have to pick it up sometime soon. But there's so many things going on.
There's so many. It's at a point where I can't even tell you, hey, bro, you have to, like. I could put out a list. You could put out an even bigger list of all the shows where it's like, dude, I've been begging you to watch this shit. But I understand life is busy. You can't force someone to watch stuff. All right, what's your second pick?
Oh. This is actually like the most recent one of all of these. All right. Actually, it might be tied with something else. All right. But this one's a recent pickup for me in terms of I've watched it.
Oh, really?
Rent a Girlfriend.
All right, man. It's pretty popular, but okay. I guess that you can't just you can't show this to. Well, yeah, actually, it is a guilty pleasure because people don't like this shit, right?
It's not a good show. It's not a good show. I can tell you that as a fan. This is not a good show.
What's funny?
But
it's funny.
It's a guilty pleasure.
I'm not. Before season 2 comes out, I have to see this first season. So I'm already committed. I know that I'm going to watch this to catch up for when season 2 comes out, so we could discuss that every week. But please, my friend, tell me why it's not the best show out there. I don't think we've ever talked about Rent a Girlfriend, so I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on this show.
Man,
garbage.
I just remember I remember watching the first episode. I'm like, wow, this is a garbage fire going off the rails on fire. Let me read let me read the manga, see where the fuck this plane crash is going.
Yeah.
And it was just a ride of just like, and this MC is the most garbage MC I might like.
Oh, I bet.
This is just one of the, just absolute garbage.
I was saying about what's his face, Gojo, saying that he's a little bitch boy. This guy, whoever his name is, this guy's even more of a bitch boy, right?
Oh yeah, like this is just a garbage main character. Like, he's just masturbating, just like,
really?
It's like,
okay.
Oh, and the OPED, like,
okay.
They don't hide it. Okay. They don't hide it. This guy's a pure degenerate. I was like, wow, I want to see what the fuck happens to this here. Like, this is some garbage. How can? So then I read like the whole manga in like the same night, and I'm like, wow, that was what I expected, and I guess I was satisfied. So that's why it's a guilty pleasure for me, because like I knew it, I saw it, I'm like, wow, this is like a pretty low tier show, but I'm enjoying watching this garbage can on fire.
It's a
You know,
harem. It's another harem, right? Let me ask you a
yeah.
question. How would you compare this to Girlfriend that we saw last year?
Way worse.
This is worse than Girlfriend.
Not even close.
Not even close.
It's not even close.
Oh boy.
This MC is absolute.
Now now you're scaring me, man. Now you're, because again, I gotta watch season 1 to catch up. Now you're scaring me, Jerms. Now you're scaring me. I thought that you would say it's like better, but
oh no.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So
yeah. So
it's not.
The waifu is absolutely insane top tier.
Top tier.
I think that was mainly the reason. I think that's the main reason I kept going. I'm like, damn, this MC is the most like garbage MC, but the waifus are absolutely top tier, except for the trash can in the second one there.
The trash can in the second one. Let me pull this up. Blondie. Who's the trash can? She's the trash can. The one in the red. That's like that's like the main waifu, I assume. Right?
Oh yeah, Chizuru is top tier.
Is she best girl?
Oh man, it's a tough one, man. It's either the first or the third.
I can get behind that. I'm not into
it's a tough one.
I'm not into the, what are they, lollies, like the little girl shit. Some of them look young. Like, what the fuck am I looking at here? You know. But anyways, that's a whole other discussion. All right, so you liked it for the waifus, but why might it not be for everyone? Besides it being garbage, anything MC.
The MC people will absolutely hate the MC.
The people who typically hate bitch MCs, right? They will hate this MC.
And just like most MCs, this guy has like not any redeeming qualities.
Oh,
this MC
he's like a dirtbag. He's like a douche, kind of, right? Like
he's basically like he's like a, you know, he's like one of those like Redditors or something. You know, he's I'm always nice to the girls.
Oh, like no, one of those.
Like he doesn't have the exact like personality, but just like he's just masturbating. Yeah, he's like, you know, it's just like,
all right,
come on, man, you gotta change up your life. But the MC is not as bad as I'm explaining, but just like compared to the waifus and like the storylines are just insane. It's like just watching, you know, a train going off a cliff and then, you know, an airplane comes and hits it. You know, it's like it's just like what.
All right,
how can it get worse?
So it's not for everyone because of the MC. It was for you because of the waifus. But why did you love it? Why is this a guilty pleasure?
The train wreck.
The train wreck. So
the train wreck. Is this
one of those where it's so bad that it's like good? It's like so corny. Yes. It turns out being good. It's one of those, huh?
Yes.
All right.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
I saw the episode 1. I'm like, wow, this is garbage. Let me see where this goes.
All right.
So you'll see in episode 1. You'll know in episode 1 if you're ready to see the rest.
You're scaring me. I don't know. You're scaring me off. Unless you give me a guarantee that we're going to talk about season 2 every week. You're scaring me here. So I'm not even. You put me back into the maybe category with this one, Jerms. No, I gotta see it.
Yeah. That's my number 2 there.
That's your number 2 pick. All right. Let me pull up mine. All right, here is my number 2 pick. I feel like I've talked to you about this one before. This is Sunabozu. This is Desert Hunk. You're familiar with this one. I think I've talked to you about it before. All right. Yeah. Why is this a guilty pleasure? Because it's a weird show. So basically, it's about this. It's about this outlaw in the desert. It takes place in the desert region, and he's basically he's like a scumbag. I haven't seen the one you were just talking about. Which one was that? Rent a Girlfriend.
Rent a Girlfriend.
He's a scum because he's a horn dog. He's one of those. He's one of those guys, right? He's he's like a Master Roshi kind of, but like the MC as the horn dog. And basically, he's a bounty hunter. You know, he just does odd jobs to make money. But he's a total shyster. He's a total sleazeball. Like he's the guy that lies through his teeth just to make money. And it's not for everyone because it's kind of a weird show. I think the dub is really good. This is back in the 2000s. I like a lot of those 2000s anime with the dubs. Not the best dubs, but decent dubs. You know, that was kind of my thing back then.
It adds the experience.
That's the experience, right? Kind of like one that I almost put on this list, Ghost Stories. Like, you know, like that sort of era. But Ghost Stories kind of made up their own dub, so maybe that's not a good comparison. The main girl here, who is one of my, I think I put her in my 3x3. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't. Her name is Junko Asagiri. She's basically the big tits girl. Okay, she's basically the big tits girl. She kind of derails him in his quests. She's just there for that. There's a lot of fan service. If you don't like fan service, this isn't for you. If you're not used to fan service, this is not for you. But if you're into a comedy, which is what this is first and foremost, this is a comedy. If you're into a comedy and you want to see something funny, this is for you. It's an odd pick. It's 24 episodes, just like Welcome to the NHK. There's a little girl in here, and he sort of takes her under his wing. And there's like, it's an episodic show, so like a lot of the characters will come up in episodes over and over again.
Mm.
But yeah, first and foremost, it's a comedy. It's supposed to make you laugh, a lot of funny moments. And yeah, if you just want something that's kind of like, if you want like a 2000s show, this came out in 04 to 05. If you want like a 2000s comedy, I'd recommend this. And if you like lots of fan service, you want a girl with big tits, there you go. I would. Desert Punk is definitely going to be one of those recommendations. That's a very, not everyone's looking for that. That's very specific 2000s comedy, fan service, like, you know, like. But if you happen to be looking for that stuff, that's who I would recommend it for. If you're not in a fan service, it's not for you. And why I loved it is probably nostalgia. It's like I said, it's kind of like Welcome to the NHK. It's one of the first anime I saw, probably within the first 20 or 30. And I laughed a lot. I think, again, it's a fucked up sense of humor. It's one of the, it's like dirty jokes. You know what I mean? Like a lot of dirty jokes. This is definitely for guys. If you're a girl, you might find a lot of this stuff disgusting in here. But if you want kind of locker room humor, you know, not the non-politically correct type of humor, I'd recommend this. So that's going to be my second pick, Desert Punk.
Spicy. Oh, which one is showed next? I guess I'll rip their Band-Aid off on this one.
You've hit me with two harems, so I want to see what your third pick is here.
Oh, I guess we're getting ready for this one. You're not ready for this. Higurashi, baby.
All right. No, I just tell the people why, Jerms. Tell the people why. I couldn't do it.
It's.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll shut up.
It's similar to the Rent-A-Girlfriend, man. Just the absolute train wreck of a show that this is. Like the first season, I think this is the first season. I think I probably want to put the second season on because that one's off the rails. The first season was like, oh, it's a remake of some of the arcs, but that second season, man, it was just off the rails with the how crazy it was.
Specific. This is the 2020 remake, right? We're not discussing anything from the OG series. So that's kind of, you might want to see, and again, I'll let Jerms confer, but you might want to see the OG series, the first two seasons. That's like, what, 50 episodes that we sat through?
50 episodes.
My God, that's 50. That's X amount of hours I'll never get back. We sat through all those to get to the 2020 series. So would you recommend someone goes back, watches those, gets full context before going into the new season? Or are you like, nah, skip all that shit, just watch the craziness? It
doesn't even matter. It doesn't even, dude, it's like, you don't need to know how a train works to see a train wreck, you know?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Like this is when the first season was a little bit more tame. You know, it was like, oh, it's remakes of some of the arcs that we liked in the first one. But then once I get to that second season, oh my gosh, it just, dude, there was little Super Saiyan fights. It was like, what?
Crazy. That's crazy to me.
It was like I was watching two little girls having Super Saiyan fights, like trying to kill each other. It's like, what is going on here? It's like. It's just crazy and dumb.
But sort of to the people out there that are not familiar with the When They Cry Higurashi franchise, sort of explain it. It's a crime, drama, thriller, mystery. And that's all I can tell you. Fuck if I know anything else about it. But paint the picture. Why would people like this, and what's it kind of about?
Yeah, so if you know, you kind of need the prerequisite of like, there's a lot of gore in here. There's no way around it. There's no way around this one.
If you like slasher films,
kids do not.
If you like gory stuff,
get your kids away.
Yeah, if you like gory stuff, if you like slasher films, if you like serial killer stuff, this will be up your alley, right? Would you say?
Yeah. And then like that, you'll get that the first season, and the second season where it just goes off the rails. It goes from like Scream 1 to Scream 8. It's like all bets are off. We're going Super Saiyan lolly fights. We're doing crazy.
You got to show me
crazy time travel,
because I don't care. Yeah, I remember. I think I got into a little bit of the time travel with you, but as far as the Super Saiyan fights, you got to send me some clips, man, because I don't care. I'm not invested. I'll never watch this shit. I'll never finish it. I started it, but you got to send me some clips of these Super Saiyan fights, because I can't even like imagine what they look like. Are they?
Yeah, because it's the tone of the show. It's like, why would you ever expect Super Saiyan fights in a horror thriller? But if you love that dumb, slasher film kind of stuff, like this is it. Like, no one should ever expect going in this expecting like a literary masterpiece. Like,
no.
Like no one should ever have that expectation. So if you want something dumb, you're okay with a little bit of gore every once in a while, a little bit more spicy topics. It's like, okay, this is for you, not for kids and teenagers and below and young.
So not for you, but then why did you love it? So you've explained who it's not for. You explained who it might be for, but why you, Jerms? Why have you gone to the dark side? This is the second show out of 3 that I started with you, and I couldn't keep going. So why did you go to the dark side? Why did you end up liking this? Did you do the loop where it was so bad it became good, or like why?
Oh yeah. Because like it was like I was mad for a few weeks. I'm like, wow, this is just a bad show. But it just got worse and worse. I'm like, oh wait, it can get worse. Wait a second, what are they gonna do? It's like time travel. It's like this some dumb shit. It's like this is so dumb. But it's like then it brought me back. And it's like, oh, I gotta stop thinking about this like it's a good show. I gotta think about it as like a slasher film, kind of thing, where just dumb stuff just happens. Yeah. And then like the season end of the Super Saiyan fights, I'm like, oh yeah, they all bets are off. I knew it.
It went, for lack of a better term, it went full anime on you, right? It just went nuts on you, which is
oh yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't around for that, but kudos to you for sticking it through, bro. Kudos to you. I couldn't do it, but
oh yeah.
And if you want the full context, the first 2 seasons, there's 50 episodes, and then the 2020 reboot, what did that end up being? Like another 50? Like 2 seasons of like 26 or so, something like that.
I think so.
Or were they 13 each? Either way, it's at least 25, 26, something like that. Because there's 2.
Yeah, but
there's 2 seasons of the new reboot. So
I think it was a total of like, it says the first one was 24.
24,
and then 15. So like 3, like
yeah,
40 episodes of stuff. So it's a long ride. So don't expect this to be over in an hour.
Yeah.
So that's also to the negative of like it's a lot of investment for not much payoff.
Yeah.
Like you're only getting one Super Saiyan fight. You're not getting a whole arc of Super Saiyan fights. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. Interesting. Higurashi. I really thought I had high hopes, man. Speaking of visual novels, adaptation of a visual novel. I don't know. I'm not gonna look and see if you're giving away any spoilers, but maybe you talk about that later. So, yeah, interesting picks. I'm familiar with all these picks, so I'm doing good here, Jerms. I'm doing good.
Well, this is spoiler, but this is the last garbage fire. This is the last one purely for just garbage fire that I enjoyed. So now it's only for me, and the next one's gonna be just the guilty pleasures.
Okay. Yeah. So
last guilty pleasures for different reasons.
Last one that's so bad it turns good is what you're saying, right? In terms of dumpster fires. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Ready for mine, Jerms?
What you got?
All right. My number 3 pick. I've talked to you about this one, and yeah, let's just jump right into it. This is one we talk about stuff that we recommend, and the other person says, "Well, I'll get to it," and that's fine. You have to see this. You have to see this. I will force you to see this at some point. This is Otaku no Video. This is an OVA from 1991. We're only going older and older with my list. So, you're familiar with this, but do you know much about it or not really?
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, I remember you told me about it.
Basically, this is the fictionalization of Gainax. This takes the founding of Gainax and puts it into anime form, and sort of exaggerates. This is very similar to Welcome to the NHK. Welcome to the NHK deals with otaku culture. This deals with otaku culture back in the late 80s, early 90s. So if you're not familiar with Gainax, I'll just give you a quick rundown. You know, they had the Daikon opening animations, which were done by only a hand. I think it was done by either one animator or only like a handful. You've seen the Daikon animations. Mm-hmm. We had Wings of Oniyamis. That was back in the 80s. We had Appleseed. We had Gunbuster. That is a fantastic 80s OVA. Highly recommend that. We have, Otaku no Video 91. The big hit, the one that solidified them, was Neon Genesis Evangelion with Hideaki Anno. We all know Eva. They did Fooly Cooly. They did Gurren Lagann. So they're kind of, Gainax is known for flashy animation.
Been there.
Lots and lots of mechs. Lots of mechs. So what the fuck is Otaku no Video? Otaku no Video is a story about a guy who goes down the rabbit hole of being an otaku. Now remember, this is back in 91, so they had VHS tapes. And so it sort of, it starts with him meeting an anime club. The anime club starts showing him how they tape over certain programs and they make their VHS tapes. Fan subs back in the day. Just all of it. All of it. I mean, and it gets to the point where he starts to lose his social life because he gets so deep into anime. He's collecting figures, cosplay, the very early what's the word I'm looking for? Conventions, very early, like anime conventions. All of it, all the otaku culture, hardcore stuff. They start stealing cell sheet animations from animation studios. Again, just all of the weeb culture. So there's that. There's the anime about that, which is, again, this is a 2-episode OVA, and it basically shows you the downfall of this guy. His name is Ken Kubo. And again, he joins an anime club. They get him swept up into this life. Simultaneously, there's real life interviews with real otakus in here. There's live action interviews placed within the story when they fit thematically. They usually blur the guy's face and they ask them questions like, what got you into otaku culture? And you start to see, like, the very first one I remember, the guy was nervous. He was at his office job. And they said, oh, like, you're one of those pioneers who helped at the convention. And, like, you used to wear a Gundam Char helmet. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did that, but I regret it. Like, you could tell he's, like, ashamed. You know what I mean? This is back in the early 90s. Totally different than what it is today. Today, it's, like, cool to be an anime fan, right? Back then, it wasn't. So there's all these different interviews. I think they even interviewed Hideaki Anno in there. They also interviewed a Western fan, which is funny because then it goes from Japanese to like English, right? Because they speak our language, and then because it's subtitled, I get to see what the Japanese subs would have him say, and they don't match up, right? But he basically talks about being a closet otaku back in 1991 when it's not cool. And he's like, yeah, man, he's like the stereotype. He's like, yeah, man, I wish I was in Japan. Japan's so much cooler. You know, like the stereotypical weeb, you know? And then, yeah. So why is this not for everyone? Again, it's very much like Welcome to the NHK. You have to know your anime history. You should know Gainax's history. You know, the Daikon animations are a great place to start. That's like the founding of Gainax, the Daikon 3 and 4, which you have downloaded, and those beautiful qualities you found. You should probably see Ava. You should probably see Gurren Lagann. You know, all the big hitters they have. You should probably know who Hideaki Anno is. You know, change the anime industry, change the mech genre. You should really know all these things, and it's not a direct story about the founding of Gainax, but it's like a spin-off of it, right? It's sort of because eventually it's a fictional story. So eventually they start their own anime studio, and they get so big, and they open a theme park. Like it goes off the walls, right? But it's crazy. So if you're not privy to this stuff, you won't understand it. You'll be like, what the hell am I watching? Who is it for? If you're a fan of 80s anime, early 90s anime, this is totally for you. I'll give you some of the cosplay references they have. Lupin III, Gundam, Urusei Yatsura, Captain Harlock, Cyborg 009, Space Adventure Cobra. All those anime from the 80s. If you're privy to 80s anime, and I think there's a Darth Vader cosplay in there. There's a lot. It's all about the nerd culture. So if you want to see cool, if you get those references, if you know who those characters are, it's really cool to see these characters like, oh, she's dressing up as her. He's dressing up as him. And why did it resonate with me? I think it's a great historical piece. I think like if you consider yourself like a hardcore anime fan, I think you should watch this because it's a spin-off of Gainax, but it's also like it shows you what the culture was like back then. There's real life interviews with people back then, and it shows you how different it was. And it also shows you, kind of like Welcome to the NHK, it shows you how engrossing and intoxicating it could be. Like, yeah, how you can really get swept up and addicted to this, like anything else, right? Because we know that there's hardcore fans out there of everything, but you know, certainly anime has no exceptions. So if I didn't do it justice, I'm sorry to anyone who's seen it, but just watch it. Highly recommend it. If you want, this is for anime history. This is like a piece of anime history. Highly recommend it. Talking no video. Any question? Any thoughts? Any questions about that?
I gotta see it. I gotta see it sometime soon. Like it's only 2 episodes. That's a pretty easy.
Literally 2 episodes,
to throw on.
And they're 48 minutes per episode. So you know you're looking like almost 2 hours or so. So, but it's a very enjoyable watch. It's nothing hardcore. You get to see how the main character becomes more and more, and you know, like he becomes sick, he becomes addicted. He doesn't go outside. You know, the typical stuff that you'd see with the hardcore otaku. So, if you're into this one, is for the culture. If you want to see the culture, that's what this one's for. If you're into 90s anime, if you're into 80s anime, gotta watch it. Otaku no Video. Definitely recommend it.
Nice.
Yep. Again, my list is a little weird, you know. So, but yeah, I can't wait. What's your number 4, Jerms? This one's not a dumpster fire.
Oh, it's you know, these are the ones that's like, these are right here next to my heart as well. And this next one here, oh man, I remember I watched it the first time. I'm like, damn, this shit's good. And then I'm like, I watched a few other shows. I'm like, was it as good as I remember it? So I watched it with another friend, and I was like, hopefully it's as good as I remember it. And then I was like, oh yeah, it was just as good as I remember. But then they were like, Jeremy, why? This was like the most garbage show I've ever seen. And it's like, damn. I guess people have different tastes than me, I guess.
They just don't have have that acquired taste, that Jerms taste, you know? It's all individual.
So, press enter there.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
So this is undefeated Bahamut. This is Jeremy's name all over. You know, it's got harem, mechs. It's tons of waifus, big titties everywhere. You know, this is this show, and just I remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, wow, this speaks to me. This is the show I want to see like 10 seasons of. You know.
What's the full name? Underrated Bahamut Chronicle is what
undefeated.
I say. Undefeated Bahamut Chronicle. All right, so it's harem, it's mechs. What's it about? Can you give me the plot? Is there a plot in this one? Be honest. Is there a plot in this one, Jerms?
There's not. Oh, there's a lot of plots around there, but I remember the actual plot was pretty like, it's the MC. I think is like he's like part of the royal family, but like the whole royalty family was like the king was killed, so like he kind of goes like, you know, incognito.
Okay.
And he's just, you know, trying to go back up and, you know, become the king again.
So is this
pretty
high fantasy? We talking like a different world?
Yeah, but it's got mechs and stuff. They got it's like a cyberpunky kind of, you know. They got like evil castles, but they still got mechs somehow.
And on his quest for glory, all these beautiful women just show up at his doorstep, right?
Oh, I think he falls into the bathhouse, and he meets the first girl. He's like, you know, trying to like
tropes galore,
trying to hide away. This is a classic ecchi harem right here. This is as by the books as you can get, really.
Yeah, but you know, that's like a safe choice. You know, not everything has to be different. Sometimes, you know, you just want that comfort snack. You know, the comfort food.
Yeah. This is the soul food right here. Just a good old classic dumb ecchi, random ecchi scenes. He accidentally goes into the bathroom or something. You know, the usual trappings. And so
who's best girl? Who's best girl? Which one? Pink hair?
Well, pink hair is top tier, but
blonde.
surprisingly,
I'm just going off the chest. Who's best girl?
It's surprisingly the flattest one, the blue haired one on the left.
I don't believe you. I don't know about this. All right.
Oh, she is top tier character.
How many?
Man.
Character. Okay. How many seasons? How many seasons is this? How many episodes? Do you know?
Only one. I cry. It's only 12 episodes, man. I wish.
When did this come out?
I wish there was more.
Tell the people when these came out. When did this come out?
Let's see.
So only 12 episodes. The manga probably went on. Did you read the manga?
It's light novel.
Light novel.
I remember. I read the first like.
Oh, you read them? Okay, I'm proud.
I read one of them.
Did you like
2016?
2016. Did you like the light novel? Was it good?
Yeah. It was pretty good. I probably need to read more of it.
Yeah. Does it? It probably goes deeper into past the 12 episodes, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the usual kind of light novel kind of thing where it's.
I was gonna say you have to,
a lot more details.
I was gonna say you have to use your imagination, but light novels do have those illustrations in there, so maybe it's not total imagination on this one. So, okay, so why is this?
But yeah, this is.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Why is it not for everyone?
Oh yeah, this has got the like people. A lot of people hate, you know, just the classic ecchi harem.
These are all
tropes galore.
These are all fucking ecchi harems that you have on your list. Oh, except for Higurashi. But yeah, the others all ecchi harems. Jerms has a
Who could have seen this? Who could have seen this?
Who could have seen this? Which, by the way, I'm not I like them. I like them too. But Jerms is the isekai man. He's also the ecchi harem guy. He knows his stuff. People. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No problem.
Go for it, Jerms.
If I had like 10 choices, I'd throw some more isekais into here. You know,
of course you would.
Those are too easy shots. You know, I gotta give them a little bit more of the spice that people.
It's gotta be. Go ahead. It's gotta be a dirty pleasure. Yeah. Isekai is so. Everyone likes isekai. All the idiots out there like isekai. Not everyone is into Not everyone is into the the harems. You know, the harems are kind of underrated these
Mhm.
days. Kind of underrated.
Well, yeah, it's you know, because before isekais it was ecchi
Yep,
harems.
that's what it was.
This was the garbage. This is the beautiful garbage
Yep.
that was being shoveled every season.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they don't do it like how they used to anymore. You know.
Nope.
Unfortunate. I wish there was a garbage ecchi harem mech school.
Hey, we got World's End harem these days. Whoa. Sorry again.
Hey, that's basically just hentai. That's just basically hentai. You know.
That's not even ecchi.
This is before they had some class back in the in the day.
Hey, there was some class to my damn harem. Okay. All right, we keep spiraling here. We got to get to the 3 main subjects. We keep spiraling. Who is it not for? It's not for all the people that aren't into the harems, into the tropes, like you're saying.
Ecchis.
We know why it's for you. It's an ecchi harem, but why this one? What makes this one stand out? Do you like the MC? Do you like the setting? Is there a lot of raunchy stuff, like more than the usual show? Why do you like this show?
It's actually like basically like it does like an MC is like a pretty good MC. He's not a bitch boy, you know.
Thank God.
You know the characters and the actual waifus actually have development. It's like, oh, it's pretty good. The villains are just bog standard villains, but it's like, oh, you know, the development of the characters. You know, I just love the characters. Like the big titty girls. You know, she's kind of dumb, but man, the blue chick, oh, the spunk and spice she's got, oh, fell in love with her, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So it's just like it's like one of the peaks of the ecchi harem school mecha genre, you know. Very specific genre.
What you got to do one day is you have to come out with a top 10 harems. I got to see it.
Top 10.
Top 10. You got to do a top 10.
Oh.
And but you got to see some of the old ones like Love Hina, stuff like that. Once you've seen everything there is to see, I need to see your top 10. I'm very curious. You know, I've seen stuff like High School. I've seen like High School of the Dead. I've seen like some of the popular ones, but you've delved way deeper than me. So I can't wait to one day. You got to give me the rundown on this genre because you kind of like isekai. You have a lock on this genre. I'd say you probably know your shit when it comes to this stuff.
Oh yeah. Like this is around when this is like one of the first shows I watched weekly.
Yeah. What is this, 2016?
And like
2016? This is when I was fucking coming up to you at lunch telling you to watch anime. And you didn't you took someone else's advice, but you never took my advice. But I was telling you week after week to watch anime, and here you are. Long time ago. Ago.
Yeah, that was like a golden year or two where it was just the garbage like the mecha, school, harem, ecchi. Those 4 tags right there.
You know which
I was living like Larry.
You know which mecha, not to take your shine, and I'm sure that this is a good show, but you know a good mecha, school, harem. What else was it there in there?
Ecchi,
of course.
Ecchi.
Yeah, that comes with harems. Have you've heard of Full Metal Panic before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't seen that one?
I haven't seen it.
I hear that, and that one's from the 2000s, so that would be up my alley. I hear that that's a banger, dude. I hear that's a banger. Maybe one day we got to watch that one, because if you like the mecha, school, harems, I think it fits all those 3 categories. So lots of harems out there. You can't watch. If you're an anime fan, you've seen harems before. You know, you've seen. They're out there. They're out there, people. So.
Mm-hmm. That's my number 4.
That's your number 4. Nothing in specific. You just good shit. Good shit from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4. I think you're familiar with all these. All right. Project A-ko. All right. So what the fuck is Project A-ko? Project A-ko is one of the greatest films I have ever laid my eyes upon. If you like the 80s, you will love this. If you do not like the 80s, stay away from this. So this is about there's mechs in here. It's in school. It's not necessarily a harem though. Kind of, I don't know. There's A-ko and there's B-ko. And there's C-ko. A-ko and B-ko are best friends. This is the 80s. This is I should have said the year. 1986. 1986. They didn't think it'd be a big hit it spawned a couple sequels because people loved it so much. Seiko is she is like it's like this like lesbian love drama triangle. It's a lesbian love triangle. Seiko loves Biko, and because Biko, this is so like a Japanese anime thing, because Biko is very much good friends with Eiko, they're like inseparable. She wants to take out Eiko. Like she wants to like kill her, you know? And yeah, that's all I'll say about it. I don't even know what else to say. There's like aliens and shit. There's not necessarily aliens, but there's like spaceships, and it's lots of action. The soundtrack is so 80s. I'm telling you, this is not for you if you don't want to. I wouldn't say this is super obscure, but if you're not into old anime, this ain't for you. That's why it's a guilty pleasure. But if you're into the 80s, I highly, highly recommend this. I've seen all the sequels. There's 3 movies. None of them hit the peak that the very first Project Eiko hits. There's like a love ballad in here where she's like singing in the bathtub. Like it's just in the hot spring. It's so good, dude. The music is phenomenal. They go to the mall. You know how the malls were really big in the 80s. So yeah, like we've kind of talked about here, it's been a theme. The third act, it goes off the walls. It's just like the mechs come out and like they're fucking fighting, like everyone's fighting. It goes nuts. But yeah, that's all I'll say about it. It's like a lesbian love triangle with lots of action in super 80s. If you love the 80s, it's fantastic. The soundtrack is fantastic. This is such a guilty pleasure. I would not recommend this to anyone, but if you want to sit down and watch a good old school classic anime movie, 1986 Project Eiko, I adore this movie. I fucking adore this movie. So yeah, definitely a guilty pleasure. Like this is like, I think the older they get, the more sort of, well, maybe not like this and like Otaku no Video are kind of on the same level. It's like I would not recommend this to the average person, but if any of that sounds remotely interesting to you, I do recommend it. And both of them aren't super long, so that's gonna be my 4th pick, Project Eiko. Don't sleep on that shit. It's actually really good.
Oh, this is the one, James.
All right,
ready for number 5?
Pick number 5. Is this where I lose my shit? Do I know this one? I'm scared.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyone who knows me as an anime fan, it's the one, the only, Infinite Stratos, baby, the one, the Genesis.
Right when you said anyone who knows me, I thought of Infinite Stratos, and here we are. Okay.
If you know me, anywhere online, you hear me talk about anime, I always lay it down straight. Infinite Stratos, the greatest anime of all time, baby.
Yeah, clear it up right now. Is this number 1, or is Air Gear your number 1?
Number 1.
Is it, this
Air Gear is the best manga.
Okay, but Jerms' favorite anime of all time is
right here, baby.
Infinite Stratos. No, no question. Not Air Gear.
Oh,
not
even
Hunter x Hunter. Any of the stuff you have on your list. This is number 1 for you.
Oh yeah, and in the heart everywhere is. It's just Infinite Stratos, man. Like this show was the show that was like, hey, this anime is pretty cool. And then I watched, the dub. I'm like, wow, dubs are really good as well.
Good? Okay.
Oh yeah, I've seen this show like 14 times each season. You know,
how many seasons?
7 times.
Jesus.
2 seasons.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, I remember when I first started watching anime.
26 apiece. What are we talking? 12 apiece.
12 episodes.
Okay, good.
But I remember like when I first started watching anime, like I'd rewatch this show every time with like, hey, you watch anime? Hey, let's watch Infinite Stratos. I watched both seasons back to back with them. Then I'm like, okay, a new person. Well, I guess it's been a week. I guess time to rewatch Infinite Stratos season 1 and 2 again. What am I feeling? Am I feeling the dub or feeling the
sub?
Feeling the sub, and like 99.9% of the time they hated it. But
the other people that the people that you watched it with.
Oh yeah, they were like, "Wow, this is garbage, Jimmy. You watch this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do. This is the shit right here."
Well,
so this is a guilty pleasure.
It's the number one guilty pleasure. It's your favorite of all time.
It's the guilty pleasure.
This is the one that defines Jeremy's guilty pleasures. So,
oh yeah, there's no doubt. When I say guilty pleasures, Infinite Stratos was the number one thing. Not even a doubt.
Well, it's on my list. Guilt by association. Knowing you, at someday you're gonna sit me down. You're gonna make me watch it. I know it's on the list. I'm gonna watch it. But explain, what makes this your number one?
It's just the.
He's at a loss for words. I'm
at a loss. I don't know. It's like, what do I like going to sleep? It's like it's just feels good. I like especially like the dub. The dub is so good. The accents
let's watch it dubbed when we watch
the dub is fantastic because they're all from different countries. So it's like, you get a little bit French, a little German, a little bit, So it's just like I love the characters. I love mechs, and mechs are super cool. So it's like, hey, the MC is the only male that can pilot mech. So it's just like all females. It just rings on the bell. There's no other. It's like another like one or two male characters, but it's like just hot females all day, every day.
What's give me the synopsis? What are they doing? What are they fighting? What's the world? Give me something here.
Yeah. So in this world, like they made mechs, but the only thing is only females can pilot mechs for some reason. But then somehow the MC like touches a mech and it reacts to him, and he's able to pilot a mech.
He's such a wuss.
He's the only male
he's such a pussy that I'm just kidding.
he's the only male that can pilot a mech. So he goes to an all female school to learn how to control mechs, and well, bam, yeah. Well, hijinks ensues.
Yeah, that's the setup.
You want to harm? Yeah. If you want to harm, it was only chicks in your school.
Yeah, this looks like a shit ton of girls, dude. That's a hell of a cast.
That's the light novel. The only ones. Well, there's only like 5 or 6 in the actual anime, but all those other girls also show up in the light novels.
That's enough to get your feelers out there, right? Okay, so they have mechs. What do they do? Do they go to space with them, or what are they training with the mechs for? What's the mechs?
Yeah, they're just doing like, the usual like training. They had like a tournament initially, but then like, evil organization trying to steal the technology of the mechs, and that's coming in. Obviously it's all hot female chicks, the usual.
So it's
just like,
it's futuristic, right? It's like a futuristic world. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the mechs are just like all integrated in society. It's a little bit more. I imagine like 2100, something like that. It's a little. Yeah. It's a little bit more futuristic, but it's not like so far gone.
All right, so yeah, the number one favorite. I didn't think that Infinite Stratos would make your list, but here we are. Okay, so why is this not for everyone?
Oh yeah,
harem.
It's an harem ecchi, dumb. The MC is dense as fuck in the anime. I'm gonna clarify in the anime.
Asterisk.
I read the asterisks in the anime. Read the light novels, then we can talk.
Oh, so it's a light novel. You read the light novels.
Most of them, yeah.
They were good.
Oh yeah, so much better. Like I was already loving the series already. Then I read the light novels. So I'm like, wow, the potential, all the extra little scenes that weren't in the anime. The MC's thoughts. You actually get to hear them. You're like, wait.
Yeah, that's the power of literary works of fiction. So, is there manga for Infinite Stratos?
Yes, but not actual. If it was actually in English, I would have bought like 10 copies of it. But it's only in Japanese.
It has not come out in America. Interesting.
Nope. Probably never will.
So,
And it had like a second civilization, like a second, like it had like a remake of the manga, but then it was only like 2 volumes.
what do you mean a remake? New
So
drawings?
like, you know, like a new artist came in and then like restarted, you know,
Why wouldn't you just
like with a Mob Psycho.
why wouldn't you just continue? That's interesting.
What's a new
Yeah,
artist, so you know
that's
it's a
fine.
lot better art, you know.
Okay, so
I have the volumes. You can see them next
the
time we hang out.
Japanese, yeah,
I
yeah.
can show you.
Okay. And I would assume the manga doesn't the light novels go further. Like are the light novels finished?
Way
Did
further.
they conclude the story?
We're waiting for that last. I'm waiting for
Oh
that
my
last
god.
volume, James. I've been waiting.
Is it
Been on it.
it's on hiatus?
It's a little bit on hiatus. It's just he's just taking a long while to finish the last volume.
Okay. Yeah, you know,
I'm just waiting.
you'll probably cover this in your presentation, but I'm curious at the schedule of when light novels come out, right? Because we know in the manga industry, it's a chapter like a week. Well, it depends. Some serializations are like one every 2 weeks. Some are one every month. But I'm curious if you'll discuss light novel industry. So, okay, so it's not finished, but you've read everything, and as soon as it comes out, you'll read it, I assume, and get the
Oh
final
yeah.
conclusion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Has it since you've picked it up in the light novels? Is it still like good stuff? Like the story?
Just as good, man. Just as
Would you
good,
say better
man.
because you can hear the MC's thoughts and all that?
Oh yeah, so it's so much better than, you know, just like the interactions and all that kind of. It's just the little details. Like once you read like a light novel and compared it to the anime, you're like, oh, this is a totally different feel. Like you're really like, even though it's like, even though you're not actually seeing it, it feels like you're actually more integrated
Yeah.
and like
Like the point of view.
you're like,
yeah, you're there.
yeah, the point of view, you really feel it compared to the anime. Because I remember like there's also another like isekai series I read the light novels for. I'm like, wow, this. Like I thought the anime was already fantastic, but like I'm getting way more immersed. I'm seeing people like the MC's thoughts and having these extra conversations that weren't in the anime.
Yeah.
It's like you get that little bit more of like, oh, she was talking the best waifu here in this moment. Like I wonder, I feel like they could have said more, but it's like they did say more, and it was the light novels. So
yeah,
then
you didn't get the anime.
it's like,
all right, I have a question. I want to pose it to you. If you can only have one for the rest of your life, the Infinite Stratos anime or the Infinite Stratos light novel series? You only get
light novels.
Light novels? Wow. And you're going to say that above your number one anime of all time. You're still going to go light novels. Alrighty. Yep.
The anime is fantastic. The dub adds so much, but just the amount of extra depth you get with the light novels, you just can't get anywhere else, you know?
Yep. All right, so you've definitely described why you loved it. It's not for everyone because it's harem, all that jazz, and yeah. And who tell the people why it might be for them. Who's this for? Who should check out Infinite Stratos?
Well, you gotta have like a tolerance to like super dense MCs. Well, because because like he's one of the densest MCs in anime of all time.
And it's your number one.
Number one, baby, number one.
And he's
so it's like
he's damn proud of it. He's damn proud of it.
So you know, if you're okay with that, then and you love ecchi, oh baby, jump right in the pool. The water's all fine, you know. Mm-hmm. But if you're watching a show and you're like, oh, I hate that MC, then you better run away because this MC is how dense he is. The gravity is gonna pull you back in, pull you in. So it's mostly just up to the MC. If you don't like dense MCs, then don't watch this for sure because he's the densest.
Yeah, Infinite Stratos, man. I know that's one I can't escape. That's one I'm definitely gotta watch one day. Same with Air Gear. Those are like the two that I like. You rally behind those, and I'm definitely gonna have to check them out one day. All right. Anything else, or we pretty much covered your favorite? Because it's your favorite show. You could probably talk about it forever. But anything else for the people?
Oh yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it.
All right.
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people don't like the show, but every time I mention, like, it's my favorite show. They're like, that garbage. I'm like, yeah, that garbage. That's my.
You know what's funny? I really wanted to put Hakusho on my list. I didn't know that you would put your favorite show because I wanted to put Hakusho because
Well, mine's. I thought I also in the sense of like
it's a guilty
shows that
pleasure.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, people that shows that people won't like. What, you watch that? It's like, yeah, I do.
See, yeah, with Hakusho, like nobody knows about it. Like it's so old. Like no one. It's kind of forgotten. It's underrated, but I can't really say it's a guilty pleasure. Like people know about it. You know what I mean? So that one was like, I'd kind of be cheating. I'd just be putting in my favorite show to be putting in my favorite show. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because I'm a special case because my favorite show is a garbage show.
well, you
so.
admit that, which is
Yeah,
I could never say that about Hakusho, but all right. So I did not put Hakusho.
What's number 5?
You ready for it?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
My number 5, 1985, Angel's Egg. This is by.
I remember you telling about.
This is by Mamoru Oshii. He has done lots of seminal work. He did. He worked on Ghost in the Shell, Yurusei Yatsura, the Pat Labor movies, and I think the OVA too. Not that I would necessarily recommend those. It wasn't really for me. Like a lot 80s, 90s stuff. A lot of older. Definitely Ghost in the Shell. He's known for that shit. All right. Angel's Egg. What do I say?
Can't wait to hear this.
What do I say about Angel's Egg? It's
welcome to my seat.
How long is this shit? An hour and 11 minutes. I'll keep it brief. I don't really know how to describe this. I don't really know what this is about. This is avant-garde to the max. This is a surreal sort of. I don't even know how to describe the story. Like this. I'm losing the words, Jerms. I'm losing the words. There's a lot of religious symbolism in here. So if you were interested in theology, there's some religious symbolism. Other than that, all I can say is watch it. It's one of the weirdest things. It's an experience. Don't watch it in low definite. Turn off the lights, turn it up, grab your popcorn, and just watch it. And if you don't know what you're watching, that's okay. No one knew what they were watching. But then you get to the end and you're like, wow, that was strangely effective. I don't know. It's one of my favorite. It's technically an OVA, but it's like a movie. It's like a movie basically at an hour and 11 minutes. It's basically one of my favorite anime OVAs. I count it as like a feature film. The main character, I'm looking at the Mal. She doesn't even have a name. Her name is just Girl. And then there's only 2 characters in the whole thing. There's Girl and there's Boy. And you don't know where they came from. Yeah, it's just watch it. It's
I saw that and I remember you tried to describe, and this is exactly how you said it last time. It was just,
I don't know. Just watch it, and if you wasted your time, you never have to see it again. But most people who watch it love it. It's a very artistic film. You gotta, it's something you either appreciate or you don't. There's not going to be people that think it's okay. You either look at this and you think, wow, that's beautiful, or you think, what was that? What did I even watch? I will force you to watch this at some point. And I don't know if you'll like it. You might think it's like the weirdest shit that you've ever seen, but. And there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of fan theories out there. I've watched countless videos on like what people think it means.
Longer than the actual.
Yes,
longer than the actual.
Of course. A lot of people have their own interpretations of the deeper meanings of it. And I think they asked Mamoru Oshii in an interview, and he just said, it is what it is. Like, people come to their own conclusions. Like, he didn't even have like a deep philosophical meaning that he was trying to convey. So just check it out. If it interests you at all, watch a trailer, I guess. If you're into cinematography and you just want to see something that's fucking balls off the walls weird, but not weird in a bad sense. Weird as in like intriguing. It's not weird as in like, oh, this is like dumb. Like this is just like crazy. Like you know how like you've seen Fully Cooley, have you?
No, but I know about it.
Fully Cooley is like weird, like dumb weird, where it's like, okay, like none of this makes sense, but it's just bonkers off the walls. This is more of like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm fascinated by it. I'm intrigued by it, you know? It's like that feeling. And that's I cannot describe. I don't know how to describe this film. So that's where it ends. Angel's Egg. This is definitely the number one guilty pleasure. This is not something that I just throw out there. You cannot recommend this to the average person on the street. So if you're into 80s anime, if you want to see something that's so unique and so different than anything else that you've seen in anime, I'm sure there's a lot of crazy stuff like that, but I'd say this is pretty unique. I've never seen anything like this, so sorry I can't explain it, but just give it a try if it interests you at all. So yeah. Oh, and lots of religious symbolism. If you're into theology, if you want to pick up on stuff like that, I can't even answer the third question. The third question is why we loved it. It just emotionally touched me. It emotionally resonated with me. That's all I can say. You can't, it's like, what does an apple taste like? Well, it tastes juicy. Well, what does juicy taste like? At a certain point, you can't describe it. You just have to experience it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I can't describe what a color looks like. You either can see in color or you can't, but colors are colors. You just have to know what you're looking at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it touched me. Why? I can't tell you why. It just did. So, Angel's Egg. It's I'm gonna force you to watch it at some point, and I can't wait to see your reaction. I don't know if you're gonna like it. You might hate it. So, all right, that is our 5 picks for the guilty pleasures. These are anime that we can't just recommend to anyone. These are very special, personalized anime to our liking. Jerms has a ton of harem. I had my list was kind of all over the place. My list was like otaku with some comedy and then like just weird stuff with Angel's Egg. So yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
That was a ride.
Did you expect any of those 5 that I picked?
I wasn't expecting any of those at all.
Honestly,
I probably should have suspected Angel's Egg. Now, once you said it, I was like, oh, that's what I was missing.
I should have suspected Day Live, dude. Day Live for sure.
Oh yeah, that
Infinite Stratos for sure. The one that surprises me the most is Higurashi, but hey, to each their own.
Super Saiyan fights, man. It just comes out of nowhere.
Now we move on to a new segment premiering on this podcast. Education of the week. Lead the dance, Jerms. You're the one that's going to be educating me. Jerms is going to be educating me on all of the ways of the light novels, which is great.
Visual novels.
Actually talked about visual novels. Sorry, visual novels. I thought we were going to light novels today. Visual novels.
That's another week.
That's another week. Have you played a lot of these?
Yes. Oh
okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Don't worry.
He knows what he's talking about.
I got you here. I'm gonna ease you into the world of visual novels here.
This better be a damn good presentation. All right.
Oh yeah. Look how high quality it is. Look at that. Yeah. I just changed the color of our awards. But yeah.
By the way, write down the time for me, Jerms. We're going to leave that linked above. We need more views on that. We spent a long time on that. Check out our Weeb awards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Educate me, Jerms. Time to get some edumacation.
So this is a presentation by me. So, what is a visual novel, So it's basically it's like a visual, it's a video game you play on your computer, Sometimes, some visual novels can be on your phone. Some consider some games like on 3DS or PSP, can be visual novels. It's just a game. But the main focus on it is, the story and the dialogue. Like the visuals are kind of like a secondary aspect to it. It's really dialogue and story focused. Like, there's a lot of reading. Like, there's no doubt you're gonna have hours upon hours of reading. And I don't know. Sometimes they got dubs, but it's usually in Japanese, so it's not gonna help us out that much, you know.
From what I understand, it is basically a novel, just put in video game format. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's a lot of games that I can see. A lot of games have visual novel aspects to them, like, you know, Fire Emblem with the relationships. Persona, the Persona series has a lot of dialogue between characters. Ace Attorney is just like a visual novel, but with a little point and click. Those are just aspects.
Aspects of it, right? But you wouldn't say that Persona 5 is a visual novel.
Yeah,
it's a JRPG. But a lot of the dialogue, which is what made me not want to play the game, because there's so much fucking dialogue. All that is all visual novels. That's what they are, right?
Yeah. So like that. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Persona is not it's a JRPG series, but has a lot of dialogue in it. But just because there's a lot of dialogue doesn't make it a visual novel. Like, usually it's very, very light. It might not even have mechanics. Like 99.9% of the games don't have like any actual game aspect to it. It's just a vehicle for you to like, oh, let me make a few choices.
Okay, so that's what I want to ask.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm getting too ahead and if this is on a later slide, but what makes this different than reading a novel? Obviously it's digital. Obviously there's some pictures, right? Most novels don't have pictures. I mean, light novels do, but that's like a Japanese thing. Like, novels in America don't. But do you have... well, I know the answer, but just for you to clarify, you have choices throughout the game, and that will affect the story, right?
Mm-hmm. Branching.
The only equivalent I could think in literary terms would be like, you know, like the choose your own adventure books.
Yeah, it's basically a huge version of those.
It's a huge version of a choose your own adventure. And instead of reading a physical book, you're basically just hitting the same button over and over again, watching it on your monitor, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And for I think the bare minimum really is the bare minimum of any visual novels are like just a static PNG of whoever you're talking to, or sometimes not. Some doesn't, you know, but it's usually just dialogue. Whatever. There's usually like a background of like the setting you're in. And that's really the bare minimum for a visual novel. Of course, a lot of other ones add upon that, like, you know, add a little bit of motion, have, you know, the character's lips moving, dialogue, but bare minimum wise, it's just text, a background, and a character sprite, you know?
Okay, so let me ask this. So a lot of them you can choose decisions that impact the story.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have actual gameplay infused with them.
Yeah, it's just it's very much. It's usually very, very minimal.
Like mini games, kind of.
Like sometimes like maybe like a point and click or something, you know, or like kind of
like a little mini game, not like a full fleshed out thing, right?
Like with minutes of like compared to the hours of actual just reading.
Is there any visual novels where there's no gameplay, where you just
that's
clicking through the story?
Yeah, so that's how most of them are. Like, there's only some of them add just like a little bit of extra because for whatever reason, maybe the theme or wherever it's going, like it's a game or like a fantasy game or something.
So most of them don't have the choose your own story. Most of them are legitimately just a
no.
Just a digit.
I would say probably like only like 10% have a just straight linear. There's only I'll show a few that are just like.
Okay, I'm getting ahead.
Yeah, so like there's some that are very linear with like the smallest of branches where like, oh, let me go out, and then it goes back in. But
some are complete linear, right? Like it's just literally that's it. You're not even playing it. You're just observing it, kind of, right?
Yeah, that's
like that.
There's some, but they're probably not very popular. It's like there's some that are
so most of them have variations. If it's small.
Yeah, even if it's small, but a lot of them do like to branch out, and you know, especially with like the more with like a bunch of chicks. Then it's like, okay, then you spread off. Oh, I'm going to this girl. Now I'm going to this girl. But there's some more linear ones, which you'll see in a second. But there are some that are like, okay, we're going on this storyline, but you can divide it a little bit. go on a little side quest, and then come back in and then do whatever you need to do, you know. But and and not all of these have sexual content, or it doesn't need sexual content to be a visual novel. Sometimes you want it, but there's some really good visual novels out there that just have no sexual content. It's just a great story.
Do most have sexual content though?
Yeah, Japanese, you know how it is.
Yeah. Otaku culture. That's why I had 2 picks on my guilty pleasures that was dealing all with this otaku culture. All right, so cool.
Yeah. So and next, well, I guess I'll start with the classics here. We'll start off with just the classics. You're gonna recognize a lot of these names here. Fate Stay Night.
I reckon. Yeah.
Steins Gate, Necropara Baby, Ottawa Shoujo. Like, to me, those are the classics. Some people have some other views. This is a more surface level classics. Of course, like once you get deep into it, then there's the
Jerms. Yeah. I have a major question right off the bat. How does the Fate Stay Night visual novel relate to Fate? I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. No, that we don't have 5 hours here.
That's the branches upon branches right there. Like Fate and Steins Gate. Those are polar opposites. Steins Gate is a very linear one from what I've heard.
Oh, Steins Gate's very linear.
Yeah, that's a very linear,
because they have Steins Gate Zero, which is a spinoff. So I would assume that's interesting that it's linear. And then tell me about the other. So I've seen Steins Gate. I've seen a little bit of Fate. Don't hate me. I haven't seen all of it. Tell me about Necropara and something Shoujo. Katawa Shoujo.
Yeah, so these are like the surface level classic picks. Everyone, a lot of people in the anime community, Necropara, cat girls.
What is it? What is it about? Cat girls?
Cat girls.
Slice of life? Slice of life?
Yeah, slice of life. Just some spicy scenes. This that the Necropara has some sexual content. That's for sure, and that's what makes it spicy.
Is it linear, or is there a lot of variations?
That's actually a very surprisingly linear game. There's
What about the other one here?
Also
like a slice of life. It looks like
slice of life, but this was the creation of it and the actual content of it is This was the visual novel that got me into visual novels. Okay, and it's just a classic in just the surface level because it's so accessible and just a lot of people know about it. But we have a good mix of a very Fate's the most branch of branches. There's I don't know how many hundreds of endings. Then the Steins Gate, very linear. Necropara, linear again, and then Kato Shoujo is the more usual visual novel where it's branching off just to certain girls.
All right.
So then we're gonna go game by game.
Just real quick. It's a slice of life, but is it like romance? Like, what's the? Is it just slice of life? Is it just the characters, or is there like a romance there? Or
yeah, I'll get to there because I'm gonna go one by one here. So
okay, cool.
So we'll start off by Fate. You can see the general format we're gonna have here. 60 plus hours. I probably should put 100 plus hours there. So this is be the general format here. I'm gonna say how long a game is. This is be an average playthrough, not completionist playthrough. I would say 500 hours if it was a completionist playthrough. But
I have a question. Totally off. I'm not off topic, but you might cover this. Are these games kind of not to downplay anything, but are they kind of easy to make, right? Because if lots of it is dialogue and lots of it's PNGs, I don't know how in depth some of these games are, but shit, man, could me and you make a fucking visual novel? If a lot of it's just story and dialogue with not too much movement and not necessarily, you don't necessarily need gameplay. Are these not the most can people? Are there a lot of fan game? Are there a lot of third party sort of indie visual novels? Because it seems like they'd be easier to make than a standard video game.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Well, that's the interesting part. Once you get into it and play it for a little bit, you'll see a lot of the amount of I've ever wrote in my life is probably not enough for even the smallest one of these games. it's hundreds of thousands of lines of dialogue, and like the thing you can really tell between like a low quality and a high quality visual novel is just how good the writing is, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And like
that's
how
the heart of it.
Yeah, so it's like if you're really good at writing, yeah, of course. But if you want to make, you know, your shitty, you know, what's it called, like fan make, you know, Sonic visual novel,
your fanfic,
yeah. Then people are gonna read it, and it's like this reads like a fanfic because it's just.
I mean, the heart. Go ahead.
And just how much dialogue there. It's like you're gonna read it, and it's like you're reading like, you know, paragraphs upon paragraphs, and it's like, oh, I've written through like, you know, hundreds of lines of dialogue in only like 5 minutes, and this game's like 60 hours. So it's like, I wonder how long it took him to write those 5 minutes of dialogue. Probably took him like, you know, a day of, you know, writing and all that. Oh, I don't know. I'm not much of a writer, but
I'm a big writer, so this would be probably like easy for me. But yeah, the heart, from what it sounds like, the heart of it is the novel. The heart of it is the writing.
Yeah.
The visuals
are extra. The bonuses
are the extra. The sound is the extra. The
backgrounds,
the branches and timeline. Yeah. That's just the extra sort of, you know, play that they give you. But the heart of it is really
replayability is that what the branches give you. Like, oh, I did.
Yeah.
So it's like. So it's basically like you get to like something like sort of like Fate, because like Fate, it's like you start on one character. Now it's like let me grab this whole other book, and now let's start reading through this one. And then it's like, oh, once you're done with this book, now go which one you want to decide, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot, and like, you know, like something like Fate or like Kado Shoujo is like really branch heavy, where like it feels like you get to like, especially in the, like where it's good, where it's like you get the choices you make are like, you're like, oh, I want to go hang out with her. Can I go do that? And it's like, yeah, here's the option to go hang out with her and then continue her storyline. So it's just like, because sometimes it's a linear. It's like, oh, I want to do this, but I guess there's no option here. So it's like, it's a balance between, do you want like a more linear story where you're kind of like, because you really put yourself into the visual novel, because it's like, you know, it's a first person kind of a thing usually. It's like, do you want a more just like a third person, just like you know, on your roller coaster here, like Steins Gate, and you're just here for the ride, or you want to get invested into these characters and, you know, waifu them, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, well, so that's, you know, I guess we'll back to the how it's gonna be formatted here. It's going to be the length, like for an average playthrough, not a completionist, not a speed run. Just what a normal, just an average playthrough. Then the themes are going to be there. So this is, you know, Fate's a little more genres. Yeah, the dark fantasy. You know, then the amount of sexual content. You know, occasional sexual content in Fate. You know, there's not titties everywhere, but every once in a while, you know.
Fan service,
a little bit of fan service, or, you know, some spicy scenes with your waifu, you know. And then, you know, Fate's got the three main branches, you know, Fate's Day Night, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel. Those are the three main.
They ring a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because those three those three branches are the three different waifus.
Are all three of those branches in one game, in one visual novel?
It's a very, well, that's what I was saying. Like, it's probably like 100+ hours, because 60 hours is probably like for like one of those three. Yeah,
so you don't even
Fate's insane.
When you play the game, you don't experience all the content. You're only experiencing a third of it, and if you want to go do the other routes, you got two others, right? Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, so that's the fun thing of it, and especially sometimes like you kind of know how the general format is going to go. It's like, okay, I like the first time you do it, it's all brand new. It's like, oh, or if like it's like with the Kado Shoujo or something, it's like, oh, we're going through a school thing here. Oh, the festival is going to happen around this point. And then now you go to New Girl, then it's like, okay, I know what's going to be happening. There's some festival sometime soon. I wanted to go do that with her, blah, blah, blah. So, but Fate's all three of them are basically the three different games, honestly. Some people even consider them three different games, because Just Fate's it's just insane. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's Fate for a reason.
Fate's fate. Fate's fate.
So yeah, Fate's Fate. You know, if you want to go through Fate as your first visual novel, I wouldn't really recommend it. But you know, it's such a classic in the visual novel scene that you kind of gotta mention Fate, the grandfather, basically.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, you know, some people, you know, once you get deep into it, then it's like, okay, then this is the real. But as on the surface level, Fate's Fate. Let's go number 2 here. You know, Steins Gate, another classic. This one's 50-hour psychological thriller. No little sexual content. I think it has 0, but I wanted to say sometimes, you know, maybe there's a little bit of spicy scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember there being any in the anime, but yeah.
Yeah, there might just to be safe. Like not there might be like, you know, a swimsuit scene, you know, whatever, but like no hardcore, you know, sex or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
But you know, hey, it's Steins Gate. You know, this is a very linear story because it's Steins Gate. It's the time travel and all that kind of stuff. So
which is funny. I wouldn't expect it to be because it's time travel and you'd have different alternate universes, but maybe that would be like way too complicated to do. So
yeah,
I get.
Well, I think there's a lot of bad, like a lot, because like there's not many. Some games have like a bunch of like have like endings, like bad endings, or like, you know, like you die or whatever. And obviously, Steins Gate seems like a one where you would have a lot of just bad endings that just happen. So like it's mostly linear because like if you go off the branch too hard, then you're gonna just get killed for some, you know, whatever reason. So you know, it's Steins Gate. You know, it's classic time travel. If you love Steins Gate, I've heard the visual novels are way better than the anime. So if you love Steins Gate, then play the visual novels because you get way more dialogue than wherever like few hours of anime you got. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think that's like nice thing is like some of the games, some of the visual novels that do become anime, it's like the anime is basically like the Cliff Notes version of the visual novel. It's like,
yeah, that's with anime and manga. That's with books and movies. That's like this will the source material will always be the most. Think of like Mushoku Tensei. You have the light novel, then the manga, then the anime. The anime is going to have the least. It's too removed. You know what I mean? The purest author originated idea is going to be in the light novel, you know? And so same with the visual novels. I mean, 50 plus hours, there's so much more content there that they can't put in the anime, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So that's Steins Gate, a classic, you know?
Yep.
Necropara, this is the classic, like, ecchi. It's got a good amount of sexual content here. You're gonna be, you know, stuffing some pastries in this one here. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus. You know, right. And I incorporated all, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 0. But I
of course.
But if you want to go through, if you want to go through, like, each one of them is like 3 or 4 hours in total. But I just incorporated whatever the full play time if it was multiple games.
So those are pretty short then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, your hand and, you know, can only last for so long. You know, 4 hours. After 4 hours, you might have a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you might have to go to a doctor. You know, you shouldn't have taken that pill.
Yeah. Because luckily, like usually when it's a more sexual, it's usually shorter because obviously, you know, they don't want to have people be dying here. But Necropod is just a classic, man. Cat, you know. What else do you need to say? Cat girls, you know, you can see some big titties, you know. You get a little bit of everything here. So, you know, harem, slice of life. This one's a pretty linear one. Usually the harem ones are more linear because you're gonna stuff them all anyway, you know. You need to pick one. You already have them all.
Which is nice.
Yeah, so if you want to start off with something like a little bit quick and easy, you know, a little quick and easy fun, you know, buy the first one for like $4 and have a few hours, you know. You know, that's a lot of people started, me as well, but
yeah, that's the gateway. Gateway.
It's the gateway to the more sexual, spicy ones. So, but you know, it's just a few bucks. Only like 17 hours for the full all the games. But if you want just one of the games, then it's like 4 hours, $5. Well, bam. But yeah, it's Necropara, just a classic, one of the classic visual novels. And Kadowa Shoujo, man, this has a lot means a lot to me. Just the first one, because it's the first one that I got myself into, and then just once I learned.
Let me cut you off, Jerms. Let me cut you off. I don't know if it's my headphones or not, because I have shitty headphones, but I'm hearing a slight static. Check your mic right now. See if everything is all plugged in and everything is good to go. Yeah, I don't know. Might be my phone. Or check your playback, because that's really what matters. Again, it could be my shitty headphones.
Now it's crystal clear.
Okay, good. It's my headphones.
It's also just the internet, you know. Not perfect.
That's right. Yeah,
it's not perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Just want to double check. You know, we're putting a lot of work into this. All right, cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. But man, this is just like.
Remember to cut this out in the editing. So make a note somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll write it down. All right.
But yeah, this is just a classic, man. Like, I just remember just like when I heard the premise, I'm like, it's a little weird here, because the premise of this here is basically each one of them has like a disability disability, I guess. Yeah, like, well, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
This one's blind. She's a burn victim. Yeah. She's deaf. Mm-hmm. Her legs, her arms. So like, you know, basically just romance each one of them, and just obviously, knowing me, you know, I pick the speedy girl. So, and usually a lot of the times you kind of just fall into, you don't even know when you fall into that branch. That's when that's the best feeling. Like, you're just like, wait a second, I'm hanging out with her a lot. It's like, oh, I guess I'll just continue hanging out with her, I guess. It's like, oh wait, I've already gone into her route without even knowing.
So you're the guy, and then you get to pick which one you hang out with most?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then once...
Okay.
And then, like, in the background, there's like, you know, once you hit a certain relationship level with them, then it goes into their story. The hardest one...
I gotta say, it's cool to see representation, or whatever you want to say, for people with disabilities. That's kind of cool. You know, it's not something that you see every day.
And they do it in a really good way. Like, it doesn't feel...
Not like a trashy way. Not like a way that puts them down, kind of, you know?
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you kind of, you know, go on a journey with them. So it's just like, it's just a good time, man. Like, Lily is top tier, you know, even though she's blind. But it's just like, damn, I fell in love with a blind girl. And, you know, it's just like, this, you know, usually it's got some sexual content as you get to later into the story, obviously, you know, with relationships. But, you know, the branches are very natural, and you basically just go through the 5 different girls. The hardest one is her in the background there. Like, getting to her, like, you have to thread the needle to get into her branch. It's like you have to have like no relationship with all the rest of them to get with her.
Oh damn!
But she has like a very interesting story. I guess it makes sense. Like, you're going for the advanced route, you know. So, but it was Kadowa Shoujo was just a great time, and like, you know, it's only like 20 hours for like all the routes. Some people don't want to go through. You know, it's all up to you to choose your own adventure.
It's up to you.
Yeah, if you go through you know, Lily, and you're like, oh, I feel pretty satisfied and I'm done. So it's like, you know, if through the story you're like, oh, I don't like this chick, it's like you don't have to go date her. You don't need, no one's forcing you. It's all
don't touch it with a 10-foot pole, you know? No one's forcing you.
Yeah, and then I think that's probably the different feeling that a visual novel has is the adventure ends when you kind of want it to end, you know? It's like, I'm satisfied with how it's ended. I don't need to see anything else. Or you're like, oh, I don't want to, you know, see her story. I'm good. Let me go. I'll do something else. Because like I remember it was such a weird feeling. It's like I was like, huh, I finished her story, and it's like, what do I do? Like this, I guess I just I want to go see how her story was, and then I just go there and it's like, oh, I'm done.
When you finish the story, it's like the end, right? Like you've hit the end of the game.
Yeah. Then it just goes back to the title screen, and then you're like, I guess I'll start a new game.
Sick.
But yeah, then usually like a lot of people like to have like have like a billion different save files so that you can just like go back to certain scenes.
That's smart. That's smart. That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually like it's like when you're a visual novel newbie, you're like, why do they have like 90 different save slots? That's why would you need so many save slots? Then once you start getting deep in, you're like, that's why. Okay, I see now why. But yeah, Cowboy Show just a classic. I would super recommend. If it piques anyone's interest, just give it a try. It's not too long of a game, luckily, and the writing is pretty good.
Nice.
Next, now we have the other classics. Now you can see these are the more well known, and once you get into the space, the Furugasaria classic, Higurashi a classic.
What the fuck is with that artwork on Higurashi? Who did a 12-year-old draw that?
I picked the oldest because it had a bunch of remakes. So like, I was like, let me just for the meme of it, let me grab the oldest Higurashi artwork.
You picked the lowest quality. I could draw better than that, dude. I'm not an artist, but I could draw that, dude. What the fuck?
Like it's funny. Like when I was seeing like all the different like remakes and like how they changed the character art. It's like, oh yeah, now it's like an actual visual novel, but when it first came out, it looked like that, back in the thousands or whatever, and it came out.
2000s, yeah.
But if you want,
all right, let's run them.
Yeah, sorry, so Furugasaria, it's a more classic. It had an anime. That's how I originally found out about it myself. But once I got into space, it's like, oh, it's a pretty long running series, but it's very linear. It's like it's a little bit more of, it's similar like in the way to Katawa Shoujo, where it's like disabilities but like mental trauma, and like each one of the girls has like mental trauma in their lives, and you're kind of helping them go through it. So it's a little bit more of a serious one there.
Mental illness.
Yeah.
Do you have slides for each of these, or just a slide?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's what I was just doing the quick overview. Higurashi's, the psychological thriller. Doki Doki Literature Club. I can't really say much, but that's like the most famous. I think, not to say I want to hop on this train, but I think I'd probably want to start with that one. Yeah, would that be a safe choice? It's different is it? It's different.
Okay. It's so well known. That's the one I hear and I've seen the most.
Don't look anything about it. That's the one thing I'll say with Doki Doki Literature Club.
No,
just play it. Just don't.
I'll stay away.
Don't even look at the tags or just play it. Not look at nothing. And then Clannad. It's just Clannad. It's like a very classic. I was surprised to know that was like a bit of a harem, but as the main girl is the more in depth, fleshed out one. So it seems like
spoilers. I'm gonna see it one day, so no spoilers. But yeah. Interesting.
At least some of the new classics, or once you get deep in some other classics, you might see more often. Like Furugasaria. So I see it's a very long one. It's a very long one. It's 128 hours. That's nothing to sneeze at. It's a very long ride you're going to be going on, but. I remember I didn't fully beat it. I played like 10 hours in, but I was like, I watched the anime before, so I was like, I'm really seeing like way more in depth than what it's basically like a light novel, but in visual form. That's really how a visual novels feel sometimes. Yeah, where it's just like the light novel form. Slice of life, psychological drama, occasional sexual content. But it's mostly linear. But it's a hard one to, this is more for the hardcore fans, because it's just such a long game, unfortunately. So it's kind of hard to recommend some people, but just the content and quality of it is just so high that it's like, it's like the Legend of Galactic Heroes, or
Oh really? Yeah.
Like it's just so long that it's just like you gotta really invest into it. Higurashi. Like I didn't know, but there's like 2 like compilation big games. It's like 100 plus hours. from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Look, I was just tallying up all these numbers.
Hey, I gotta ask. You gonna play this one day, Higurashi?
I don't. But they got Super Saiyan fights. I don't know if they'll have the animation.
That might be the remake though. That might not be the OG visual novel. I would suspect it's not, but I don't know shit about it. So
yeah, psychological horror, no sexual content from what I heard, but obviously it's more horror and stuff than Higurashi. So you're not going with one hand on the mouse, one hand on somewhere else. Yeah. Linear story. It's Higurashi, if you know. Very linear. Doki Doki Literature Club, 50 plus hours.
Psychological horror. Damn, what the fuck? All right.
Yeah, no
little sexual content. Okay, this is completely different than what I thought it was. Okay, completely different.
It's a ride. Just go on. Just jump on.
Just jump on.
Clan at 50 hours, slice of life. It's very like I was so surprised when I was going through each of these. I'm like, okay, how much sexual content? No. Oh, next one. No. It's like, wait, there's a lot of these visual novels that have like no sexual content at all. Like I was expecting.
Is Clannad a romance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously everyone knows
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a very, very slice of life, wholesome romance. Just basically as classic as you can really get it,
Oh yeah, Clannad, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you have the main branch, but you can side branches you want to go on. But that's Clannad,
Yeah.
Now
the classic. Everyone knows Clannad.
Yeah. But now we're going to the Jerms classics, baby. Now we're
like the spice. Shit.
Now we're getting into the spice here. Now
okay, Honey Pop. It's the Sakura series. Okay, actually, every time we do these, I know like 2 of them at least. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all these are where it's like some of these have slide mechanics. Obviously, Honey Pop's a little bit more of a game, but there's just so much. Honey Pop is a hard one to put in the visual novels, but just. It's Honey Pop, man. How can I not put Honey Pop onto here? But Ace Academy, it's basically like Infinite Stratos, the visual novel. It was speaking my name. The writing, my favorite thing about this is actually the writing, the comedy, and the jokes are just so hilarious, and the memes are just so outlandish. That's like it was just a fun ride. It's like, what kind of like meme thing are they going to show up next time? Honey Pop, oh, so fire! The match 3 game with very visual novel aspects, but I kind of cheated a little bit here. This is not as much as a visual novel, but it's Honey Pop.
I'm curious.
It's my list.
Curious.
It's very sexual, very sexual. Then the Sakura series. There's so many games in the Sakura series. Like they're like $5 on Steam. There's like 30 of them.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Yeah. Search up Sakura and they'll show like 30, like Sakura MMO, Sakura, I don't know, gamers, Sakura. The Sakura series just has basically what genre or fantasy or trope do you want to go through? So, any of the Sakura games. That's why I just put the series, because you just basically pick the genre that you want to go into. And then Valhalla, it's like this is a very interesting one.
Like Valhalla, kind of.
Yeah, but it's a cyberpunk. So it's
gotta have that different writing style. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a bartending visual novel. So like you don't have any.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah, this is it's so interesting because like you have 0 dialogue. It's just you mixing drinks, and then the patrons just just talk to you, and depending on how
mix the drinks,
you mix the drink.
The gameplay. Do you mix them? Sick.
Yeah, you mix the drinks, and then just depending how well you because they come in, they what they like. So it's like if you're able to make without them even telling, this has a little bit more of the game aspect, but just it's so also just heavily into the just talking to these characters, like a bartender. Bartending is way more about the actual people than mixing the drink. Mixing drinks, mixing drinks is the easy part.
Yeah, it's social. It's a social experience. Yeah, 100%.
Space Academy, baby, 20 hours, slice of life. Surprisingly,
no
I know,
sexual content.
I know. Even because I remember I got into it. I was hoping. I was like, ooh, I want a little bit of spice in my Infinite Stratos, But just the character, I just absolutely just love the characters, and the writing was just so hilarious that I was just having a good time just playing, going through the different girls. I think it had voice acting. I forget.
Is that rare? Is that rare for visual novels? Most don't.
It's usually the more highly more expensive, or what's it called,
well-known ones.
Or what's it called? Depending on if it has a studio backing or behind it or something,
Yeah, higher budget.
High budget, yeah, the budget, yeah. Depending on the budget of the game. But sometimes, with a visual novel, it's I don't know if it's just the voices in my head, or was there voice acting? So sometimes it's funny. I think there's voice acting, but there might have not. It might have all just been in my head. So you eventually get to that level where you just start hearing voices in your head, but it's not those voices. it's anime. It's anime waifus. It's anime waifus. But yeah, if you want to have a good laugh, you have a little bit of waifus. You like the school mecha ecchi. Ace Academy. It was calling out my name. You know me, Infinite Stratos.
It looks like you, yeah.
Now Honey Pop, baby, 2 games. Honey Pop 1 and 2. 24 hours. So you got to break this up into a few sessions, because you can only go 4 hours at a time. But it's like a dating sim, tile matching, tons of sexual content, tons, every single one of them.
I assume so.
Oh yeah, it's but also just the writing and the characters, just love them all so much. It's damn, you have a great personality, and I get to see some spicy pics too. Damn, what a ride! So it's just a classic to me. It's probably not. It's probably more game than visual novel, but I just love the characters.
I looked it up. People consider it a visual novel.
Yeah.
So.
But so I love all those characters so much. Oh.
You spent lots of time with them, have you, Jerms?
Oh, I spent a lot of times. And then and then also some of them, with this one has if you want to raise some of your relationship, they tell you a fact about themselves, and just later on in the game, they're hey, so how tall am I? It's 5'4", or it's how big are your bust size? Well, you're a double D, because it gives you 3 options or whatever, the multiple choice, and it's I know those are double Ds. I know.
If you fuck up, do they get mad at you?
Yeah. And this has voice acting. I love the voice acting in this one as well.
Spicy. Yeah, that's spicy.
Mm-hmm. It's a great time, and you get to see some spicy pics with them as a reward for doing good.
Of course.
Honey Pop is a classic. It depends on the people. And then this one as well. I was surprised that there's no sexual content in here. Look at those covers. I know.
How is there not? I don't understand.
I don't know. But that's basically the limit of the sexual content. You might get a little bit more than that, but no actual fucking or anything.
Yeah.
Like with Honey Pop, that. But yeah, there's just so 30 plus games, but all of them are just 3 hours or so. And then it's a slice of life plus a theme. And so I picked this actual thumbnail on purpose, because this was the series. Obviously, you can see the Fox Girls, ninjas. Mm-hmm. I was watching Naruto at the time, so I was damn, some sexy ninjas and some Fox Girls. Let's go.
Interesting.
Yeah, so basically, and usually it's also super cheap as well. So it's what theme do I wanna? Am I feeling?
So this is slice of life, but no
Yeah.
Sexual content. Interesting.
Yeah, it's just like the writing and just like the characters that you kind of get invested into and the story.
If they look like that, though, I mean, that's like a tease the whole time, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
the
oh,
hell?
yeah. So yeah,
That's like that's the modern day anime. That's the modern day ecchi. It's like that should just be a hentai. What are we doing? What are we doing here? You know.
that's the Sakura series. There's just so many games. Just look at the list and get one of those dartboards and throw one, and you'll have one you'll like. Oh, I guess I forgot to change the change the names. It's a Valhalla, but
Oh, we're back to Fate. We
we're
can't escape Fate.
back to Fate. But yeah, it's only like 11 plus hours, and just the cyberpunk. Oh, I also spelled
It
wrong.
sounds sick.
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds
just,
sick though.
like you just have no dialogue. You just mix in drinks and just listen to people and just hear those stories. And it's like, oh, hey, it's pretty nice, pretty nice.
This this seems like it's up my alley. I think I'd want to play this if I get into visual novels for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be a good entryway into it. And there's a sequel game coming out, or like a spiritual successor. I forgot exactly which way they're gonna go about it, but
whatever, something.
But I'm excited for it. It's a pretty cool game. Pretty cool. Very unique experience. Just bartending. No crazy shootouts sick. Or anything. Just
and it's also futuristic, so you get to like see the world too, right? So that's pretty cool.
And well, bam! That's the like intro to visual novels.
That was sick, dude. That was sick. You basically gave us the rundown of just 12,
the basics. Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, 12 that are good for starting, and well, 4 of them are like pretty much like Jerms picks, and then like the other 8 are like famous ones that people have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I at least knew 2 on each list, so I knew at least 6 of them, or I've heard of 6 of them. So I'm surprised. I didn't think I'd know that many. I thought I'd know none of these.
Mm-hmm. But you just gotta go jump in. You gotta join the. It's a good time, especially join with a shorter one. You don't need to read for a whole week straight of just straight reading. Just pick something nice and short.
Hook me up with a short one, and I'll dabble the toes and get used to it. So, visual novels, fascinating, interesting. Mm-hmm. Yep. When's the last time you played a visual novel? You still big on them right now? Yeah.
This weekend,
just like a few hours ago.
Yesterday,
Oh, it's funny.
There's always some spice. I'm usually playing the more spicy.
Of course.
I probably need to get back on the more long form story.
The normal ones.
I've been busting too many nuts on in the virtual world here.
Right. Well, yep. And then anything else that you want to add for all the people watching, if they're not familiar with visual novels? Any advice or any sort of overall thoughts on the medium?
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting. It's just a different feeling than everything else that you can't really get it anywhere else. Just the amount of dialogue and sometimes you get the feeling like you're like it's like a dialogue between you and them. It's not just like a one-sided, just like they're just spewing information. You have options sometimes, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. I want to help them out when whatever, blah blah blah. It's like, hey, there's an option for that.
Right.
It's just like, oh, there's like I think Katawa Shoujo was just such a good ride. Like it was just so good. And just like the options and everything, and just the dialogue was so good. But
I don't know why, but the Doki Doki Literature Club, that's just like all over. I can't escape that one.
Oh yeah, especially when it came out
everywhere.
Especially when it was absolutely meteoric insane.
Interesting. When did it come out? Do you know?
It was sometime in like 2017.
Oh, okay.
It was
2017. 2017, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember like it was yesterday. That was a wild ride.
all the weebs were on that hype train.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. that's visual novels.
Nice presentation. And with that, that's our episode, man. This is I think this is easily going to be our longest episode. This is probably going to be Jesus. How long we've been?
Don't look at it.
I think I shouldn't look at it. Don't look at it. If only the people knew how late we record. All the hardship we go through to get the show out to the people.
Work in the morning. Let's go.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Well,
same
morning.
here.
Wait, you mean right now?
Yeah, we're already in the sun's coming up. Sun's coming up. All right. Well, if you're still here,
thanks.
We appreciate you. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, if you enjoyed this content that we slave for you guys, yes, we are inconsistent, but hey, it's not quantity. Time. It's not quantity, it's quality, right? It's quality. So
this was a good time, a good record, even though it's
that was a solid presentation. I like that. That was good. Because of that, I want to start one soon. I don't know which one. I want to look into them. Something short, something like nice and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Cyberpunk one, dude. Like 11 hours. That's not too bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one seems cool. All right, so make sure to smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're a weeb like we are. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, give us a follow on there. Always welcome to leave a comment. We love reading them, getting back to you guys. And with that was a hell of an episode. We just went through a lot. Anything to lead the people off with, Jerms? A lot of knowledge. It's lots of knowledge. We guilty pleasures, visual novels. We keep getting nerdier and nerdier. Anything to leave the people at home, Jerms?
Just there's a lot of games out there. Just pick something that sounds cool and just jump right in.
Yeah, I mean, literally advice to me. I mean, so yeah, and I will. I'll check it out. So, all right, and pretty soon, by the way, preseason for what are we going into? Spring?
Fall?
We're in winter.
Oh yeah.
No. Fall, then winter, then spring. So spring 2022. Yeah. Probably next week. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the episode. That was a hell of an episode. That was a lot of recording. All right, we will see you guys next week for the spring preseason. So peace out. See you guys then.